Tumble Tumble, where a group of longtime friends and nerdy-ass Tumblr users transcend geography through the power of Skype to play Dungeons & Dragons, and critically fumble a lot. Couple of quick things. First of all, Gally will no longer be joining us, unfortunately. She had too many demands on her time, and a whole bunch of stuff was going on. So unfortunately, we are now without Nora, our human paladin of Paylor. However, we do have 2 new players, which is the good news. So really quickly, both as a refresher for the 8 people who watch this, and as an introduction to the 2 new people, brief introductions starting from the person who essentially joined this madness first and moving on down the line. So we begin with Smeagol, true neutral on basically all forms of social media. He plays Hazel Hearthheart, our half-elf cleric of Paylor, Heel Babe, Flailer.
Made of Smash!
Yes, healer and smiter of things, basically, made of flail.
I have a hammer. I like using it.
Yeah.
Crockery.
We did realize that Hazel technically shouldn't have had a 2-handed warhammer, but then I just decided, you know what? Fuck it, I don't care. Moving on.
Zealot background gives warhammer proficiency.
Yeah, pretty much. Moving on down the line, we have Ethan, Fofire76 on basically all forms of social media, and he's basically the person among all of you that I've known the longest. Like when I was first getting into the internet as a whole. And the person who introduced me to Ethan is also the person who introduced me to the person who introduced me to roleplay in the first place. So there's this whole 6 degrees of Kevin Bacon thing going on with Ethan. Anyway, he plays, as you can probably imagine, our human bard, Darvin Taylor with a Y. Moving on, we have Antheus, more or less from the same place as I know Smeagol, and as we'll find out later, Noms. I don't know him overly well because he's very reticent, but that's kind of why I like him. He says what needs to be said when it needs saying, and that's just so rare. Anyway, he plays Froseth, our silver dragonborn Way of the Four Elements monk. Lindira, who I've known longer than some of you, because I know her from the Dragon Age fandom, which was kind of scary for me to get into, and she was one of the people who was actually really kind of welcoming in her quiet, cute, meepy way. She plays Clarity Mellereth, our tiefling arcane trickster rogue. Now, for reasons I still don't entirely understand, but I choose to take them as a compliment, Rafi approached Smeagol the other week and said, hey, can I get in on this? So everyone meet Rafi. He is joining us from, Smeagol, where do you know him from? Where'd you meet him?
DeviantArt.
From there to just general Let's Playery on YouTube to Skype contact to insanity. And yes. Him bouncing from somewhere in the northern area of the West Coast to literally like a town over from where I am right now.
Right.
Which will only last for 2 more weeks, as we know what date you're leaving now, don't we?
Yes.
Little tit. Anyway,
not my fault.
I'm just saying. Anyway, he will be joining us as Sigwald Sullivan, our School of Divination wizard.
Ooh.
Now,
I can see into forever.
Yeah,
I see all and know nothing.
Yeah, believe me, that's gonna scare him later on down the line. Last but very definitely not least, a gentleman who I've known for some years in the Star Wars The Old Republic roleplay around about the same time as I met Smeagol. Everyone meet Noms, Hyper Ewok 1 on basically all forms of social media. He will be joining us as Remy Crestwind, our Oath of Vengeance Paladin of Tritherion, the god of liberty, justice, and retribution.
Nice.
Oh God, smiting. Here we go.
I approve.
Oh yeah. Oh, this is gonna believe me.
That's the
This is
plan.
this is going to be hysterical. Okay.
Yeah, for salt.
Can I add something?
Yes.
Tritherion, the god of get dunked on.
Okay.
Why would
don't-
you?
I don't even. Okay. Brief recap. These four plus Nora, which we're gonna have to deal with in a few minutes, were at Star Coast when essentially the seeds of Armageddon began in the form of mutating death fog, which happened for reasons, all kinds of reasons that they can explain later, because I'm not going into it right now. They went out for a couple of weeks to get themselves prepared, get armored, get armed, get some information, and they've just recently come back and found out that it's a lot worse than they thought it was originally. The things that they encountered on their brief recon did unspeakable amounts of damage and briefly killed Froseth. Because monks are not tanks. Monks are not tanks. Just in case anybody ever wondered, monks cannot be tanks. They managed to get back to their safe haven. Francine had something that could at least mitigate part of the resurrection issues, but Froseth's basically going to be useless until he's had a long rest. So these four have managed to get back to their safe zone at the Piecemeal, the Weasley House-ish pub in one of the less affluent areas of Star Coast. So we'll leave them there for a moment, catching their breath and going, oh shit, while we deal with you two.
Uh-oh.
You two have spent the last 3 days on a boat. You cannot actually get particularly close to Star Coast because the captain, who's heard some rumors but didn't entirely understand how serious they were, took one look at this mass of fog where one of the port towns that he normally stops in used to be and went, nope, if you want out, you're getting out here. It's about a quarter mile from the town itself. And yeah, what you're seeing is this really weirdly localized fog bank. Things are moving in and in one case above it. Your initial thought at that point is going to be, okay, we probably want to spend as little time in this as possible until we find the people we need to find. Because 2 people in that, because the thing that's flying is about the size of 2 load-bearing wagons end to end. It seems to have 4 wings, and it looks like it's made of this black, tarry, oozy death substance. And divine sense from Remy is, oh fuck no. there are no other words. It's, if you skirt around the town, weird thing, even in the water, there's this border of flowers that seems to be where the fog stops. Both of you make me a nature check.
All right. Okay, so
Join the game.
can I just roll the d20?
No, you can actually click on a thing. Somebody tell one of these 2 how this works.
Shoot. Okay.
You guys have your character sheets open?
Okay, just a moment. Yeah, starting the tutorial for me. All right, I'll open the character sheet. Oh, here we go.
Yeah, you
And I can
punch
just
the nature
click
button.
on the... All right. Boop.
That's very convenient.
Normal roll.
Yep, normal roll.
Oh. Okay.
Actually, that
And
means-
Oh
Perfect.
dear.
Where are the players here?
I am completely stumped. I have no idea what's going on.
Nom, you don't want to give it a shot?
I just did. Did it not come
That's a
up?
14.
I say
for-
14.
Oh, I see. Oh, because it clicked just before the. Okay, I'll remember those. I'm gonna clear the current chat log just because it'll make my life easier. But you rolled a 14. Somewhere in the clutter of information that you picked up in your year with the Mercs, somehow you managed a bit of botany. Those are petunias. They shouldn't be growing here, and they certainly shouldn't be growing like water lilies, but they're growing here. This is weird. In any case, you manage to skirt around until you find there's a patch of clear in the fog and a couple of lit windows. There's about a 12-foot gap between, of fog between where you are and this inn. Sigwald knows this inn. His parents probably took him on a trip once when they were sending out herds before he went out to go and study wizardry. This is the Piecemeal. This is one of the better, lesser known pubs. It's being kept as a trade secret kind of thing. It's where you go when you want good food and just a bed. And at one point when you were very, very small, the owners gave you a cupcake, and it is still the best cupcake you have ever had. Given that this is the only sign of life you have seen while traversing the edge, this is probably where you want to go. Now, you've been assured that you have protection from whatever the fuck is going on in there. So you can go through. So what do you do?
Let's see. Now, I am no coward, but I'd rather not step into the fog any sooner than I have to. Let's see if they can hear us from out here. What do you say, Remy?
Well, I don't know about your magic, but I am rather confident. So, Remy is going to step into the edge of the fog with her sword out.
You're okay.
See what
but
happens.
Sigwald's gesticulating anxiously.
You're okay, but there is this feeling like thousands of tiny ephemeral spiders crawling on you. Like they're trying to find a way in. Let me in, let me in. It's not getting in. It's not getting in. It's itchy and annoying, but you can deal with it.
Okay, Remy is going to scream internally, but then
Your characters love doing that.
God, I love Remy already.
that's going to be her thing probably.
Hmm.
But then she'll wave. Where's my camera?
Okay.
She's going to wave to Sigvald that she's okay.
All right. I'm gonna. Let's see. I'm gonna follow suit.
Same feeling.
Okay. This may be the most irritating sensation I've ever felt.
Have you ever been stabbed before?
Not yet. Let's keep it that way.
I love Remy already.
Okay, you've got as you've stepped in, you've managed a couple of feet. You've got about 10 feet to the next clear zone, and then you can have a clear walk to the front door of this tavern, which you've got to imagine is probably not expecting visitors. All things considered.
Of course not.
So what are you gonna do?
Do we at this point know which of us has the better people skills?
You've had 3 days on a boat, so you could have figured something out. I don't know. Mostly I just see Remy being incredibly impatient at this point.
Yeah,
I'm not sure
not
why.
the best people skills for Remy.
All right. Then do we
Maybe
agree?
when she can try, if she can be bothered
That
to.
I give. So,
Your
which
your
of us
your
shall?
you sound cut out, so I missed a bit of that.
Sorry, it happens sometimes. So, Remy, which talk to them, or do you want to talk to them, or?
You're hiccuping real bad, man.
Basically, it's do we want to go and talk to them is what I managed to pick up
Yeah,
out of that.
yeah. Who shall try
Yes.
to talk? Which of us shall try? Which of us?
Well, you look somewhat less threatening, so I will keep watch, and you can go in first.
Okay, so I take the lead, and I doff my hat, and I don't walk right up to the front door. I walk within a few paces, but I call out, "Hello, hello, is the Cupcake Coterie staying here?"
Oh my god! Okay, so you four.
Do you know that they're called the Cupcake Coterie?
Yes, you do. Torin would have said something.
Okay.
Torin would have said that, laughing his ass off. Just explaining. There's reasons. I'll let you explain it to them. Just they'll know. At the very least, it will be some sort of indication as to your intentions. So you four hear this voice you've never heard before, saying that.
Ah, what the shit?
You're sitting there waiting for Nora, and you hear this instead.
What the fuck?
What?
Who is?
Can this shit read? Can this stuff read minds?
You don't know.
I have got my hammer,
Okay.
and I'm checking the door.
So the door opens, and what Sigwald sees, well, we'll start with what Sigwald sees, and then we'll move on to what Hazel sees. What Sigwald sees is this little half-elf. Lots and lots of mad brown hair, big green bow. Yes, that description will make sense. She's wearing what looks like somebody skinned a displacer beast. And she's carrying a two-handed warhammer that Remy... Give me a perception check, Remy.
Can't see it.
Oh, no.
My. I have a question. This is going slightly out, based slightly out of our character knowledge, but would I recognize it with recognize anything about with an Arcana check, or?
I mean, you might. Remy has seen weapons of that style before. She can't quite remember where. So, okay, what Hazel sees is, we'll start with Remy because I at least know what Sigwald looks like, and I'm dying of curiosity now. Also, Rafi, you're buffering for me at least.
Yeah, your
Bad
camera
network
froze
connection
again.
here. Apologies.
It's okay. So, what does Hazel see when she looks at Remy?
I don't know. She sees. I guess she's
She
like.
sees the void.
Can
Remy
we,
looks
can,
like the void.
Can we not joke about that in this campaign?
Oh, yeah.
I was about to say!
When
Sorry.
we stare into the void sends out tentacles.
There's
Yeah, the
actually
boy gets grabby!
yeah, there's at least a couple of spells that various things have that do exactly that.
Okay, she's like maybe like 5'2", 5'3", kind of short, kind of stocky, or at least by human standards, and covered in armor from head to toe. She did not take her helmet off to look more friendly because she's busy watching out into the fog for anything unpleasant. She's got a sword and a fancy-looking shield and the sigil of Tritherian in a pendant on her neck.
Yeah, Hazel will recognize the symbol of Tritherian, just as Remy will recognize that Hazel is wearing around her neck the symbol of Palor. She
Okay.
also sees Sigwald.
Sees a 5'9" young man, young question mark man. The beard might add about 10 years of age, with scruffy kind of
Duster coat.
brown hair, and a full beard, and
Ooh.
wearing a leather traveler's coat, and with a yellow scarf. And in one hand, he's holding what it looks like a leather farmer's hat, like a cowboy hat, and a walking stick in the other.
All right, I think you're okay. I'm pointing to Remy. Who the hell are you? Now I'm pointing at Sigmund.
He's okay too.
What in the what? Who did? How did? Who? What?
People!
So far as we're aware.
Like actual people. One of them is a paladin?
Yes, a paladin.
You're a paladin,
Can
right?
we come in?
Sigmund's nodding.
I mean, they're past the flower barrier. There's that.
No, she's still gonna keep her sword out because they're outside.
Yes, but well, I'm
All right,
saying,
fine,
saying
you
this
can
for
come
Hazel.
in.
Okay. Sigwald and Remy, if they accept this invitation, do they accept this invitation?
They do.
Yes.
What they see is, first of all, human, blondish, tallish, young. Musical instrument, really snazzy rapier. At his side. Tiefling, brownish skin, blue hair, black leather armor, kind of elvish design, fancy leather boots, daggers, and sort of slumped at a table towards the back. Now, you two have seen Dragonborn before. Sigwald's tutor in History and Draconic was actually a gold Dragonborn, one of the few that anybody's ever actually seen in that part of the world. But there's been some, I mean, you know Tauren, obviously. You've seen some bronzes, some copper, some of the less pure-blooded. You have never seen a silver until today. It is hunched at that corner, just slumped over the table, like Remy's seen that look before. That look of, I have just been beaten basically to death. Is a silver dragonborn in simple clothing with a couple of weapons that look like miniature scythes. Remy can make me another perception check at this point. No, the weapons, the weapons are niggling. That something about them is really familiar. The rapier, the scythe-looking things, those daggers that the tiefling's carrying. You've seen that make before, but you cannot think where. So there are these people that have just walked in, and I'm still getting buffering from you. Wow, your internet is sucking today.
It is.
Robbie, try toggling your camera again.
All right, just switch it off and on again. Let's see what happens.
There we
And
go.
what does it look like
There
now?
he is!
There he is.
Okay. All right.
I'll tell you the next time you're buffering, and you can do that again, I guess.
Okay.
Anyway,
All right.
you four, same descriptions as earlier. These two just walk in. I'd imagine Furseth just sort of lifts his head long enough to look, and it...
If he even lifts his head, really.
Nobody's panicking yet, right?
Well, no, Hazel's kind of panicking, but that's Hazel default, so...
Right.
I love
tell
being
the-
Always ready to scrap.
And, okay, sorry.
Nope, nope, we're good.
Okay.
Okay, well, first off, how the hell did you get through?
Probably the same way we did.
We don't know that. That's why I asked the question.
I'm going to walk
Remy's
up to
just gonna
Sigwald and
hold
start
up her
checking him
pendant.
for an amulet.
He does. He is
Wait,
wearing.
whoa,
He
whoa,
is
what-
wearing
what-
around
what are
his
you doing?
neck.
What?
The symbol.
Hazel hands. Hazel hands.
He is wearing around his neck a tree symbol that you've never seen before.
The hell?
This?
Clarity, what the heck is this? I'm holding up the symbol, probably pulling on him by as a result.
Sigmund. Ah!
Remy,
Manhandle him, please. We just met him.
Hostile handle it, the case may be.
Hazel handle.
Yeah, Hazel handle. There we go.
I'm pretty sure Hazel can easily push around Sigwald, given how he's built.
Yeah, and Remy's
Can
just
I-
letting this little cleric of Palor choke or charge. Okay.
For
Can
a
I
couple moments.
do an arc?
For a couple moments. Oh my
you
god.
Can, you can do.
Can I do an Arcana check?
Actually,
Okay.
make me a perception check.
All right.
Actually, all of you can do the same. Froseth can. He's actually not.
No, I don't see anything.
He's actually
It's
not
a
at
3.
disadvantage for this because he has an advantage that cancels it out.
Perception,
Holy
you
shit.
said?
Oh, whoa.
21
Oh, there we go. Hey!
19.
There we go.
Yay!
Okay.
15.
I'm
Clarity
still
sees
really
nothing.
upset.
It's not even just that. It's he has a spell book. You know what that book sticking out of one of the big pockets of his coat is. He has a spell book. That is just taking
You're like,
up
ooh, shiny.
all your attention.
Oh no.
You three, Froseth, it takes a minute because he is looking from across the room and he is tired. You don't know exactly what it is, but you have seen that symbol before. When you were going to get Palor's beacon, when you did that rubbing to get that nearly obliterated bit of information, you're pretty sure that something that looked like that was at the edge of one of those sheets.
I immediately drop him.
You can now more or less breathe again.
You're a wizard.
That was in that was the missing. That's got something to do with that missing god.
You mean the villain? Yes.
Wait, what?
Okay, well, apparently it's not missing.
Again by the shoulders, and I'm all but shaking him. What do you know?
I know that she disappeared some hundreds of years ago and took away a great deal of knowledge about herself at the same time.
That's
He knows
very-
things. I'm
that's
still
a
shaking him.
Except maybe she did. Except maybe she didn't take it. She didn't take it with her on purpose. Maybe it disappeared at the same time as part of a coincidence. And I'm getting ahead of myself. Allow me to introduce myself. My name is Sigwald Sullivan. This is my long-suffering bodyguard, Remy Crestwind. We were sent from the city of Belarus to deal with this miasma that has overtaken Star Coast. I am also here
You have
because
been to Belarus?
What?
She
What he said.
She asked you have been to Belarus.
Yes, actually, I've been studying there at the Belarus
this-
Academy of
This,
Magic.
You're shaking him again?
This is the half sister that's shaking you currently.
Wait, and also, are you Hazel Hearthheart?
I have stopped shaking him and dropped him again.
Apparently Hazel's more famous than me so far.
Actually, Remy knows the name Hearthheart. She was with the mercenary companies. She's seen the guild hall. There are portraits. To her, Hearthheart means a halfling male with brown hair. Rand Hearthheart, the lover of Twilla Quickflight of the Quickflight Diminutives, which was this briefly famous mercenary company of the smallest dwarves, gnomes, halflings, all the really, really tiny ones. They Twilla quick flight and Rand Hearthheart vanished at one point, taking their halfling cleric and an arms master who was actually taller than all of them, because this one was actually human, with them. But the portrait's still there. So you hear Hearthheart, you see this half-elf, and you're like, what?
You have met Andre! I am pointing directly at Sigmund's face.
And I say, Andrew. By Andrew you mean Andromeda, right?
Yes, Andre!
Yep. Yes, I have. She's doing well. If you've been concerned about her at all. She also says hi.
Oh my. Oh, Paler. Oh, dear God. I'm starting to pace and run around in circles, like, frenetically.
Hazel? Hazel?
Hazel.
Quiet, please.
Sigmund doesn't know what to make
Hazel.
of this.
Hazel.
Yeah, that is
Hazel.
Remy.
This is a very energetic band of
Francine,
adventurers.
Francine, who Sigwald barely remembers, grabs Hazel by the back of the skin displacer beast. So Dragonborn, you want to give her another one of those green things that seem to calm her down? It actually tosses Hazel a bit towards first. Sorry about her. She's had a bit of a day, week, life. I don't know. I'm Francine, by the way. This is my establishment. And if you could get through the fog, you're probably not hallucinations, same as they're not. And I'm just gonna... Do you want anything? We've still got some ale.
Yeah, let's go with some ale.
Some refreshment would be nice.
Well, we're doing a little better on supplies than we were, thanks to, believe it or not, this lot. So,
You brought stuff.
I'll put something together. Hopefully that'll... Why don't you talk to... Sort of points a little at Clarity and then points a little at Darvin and tries to point at Frozen, but one of
The
them...
Cupcake Coterie.
One of them does make more sense. He's just a little... He's had worse day. And goes off and pours ale for people.
Yeah.
I am nudging Froseth for another one of the green things.
So
Reaches into his backpack, pulls out one of the tea candy things.
doesn't even look, just
Straight into my mouth, and then back over to Clarity, who I then proceed to latch onto. I need a hug.
All right.
okay. So
What are you all doing here? How did you know to look for us here?
Well, Tritherian, god of justice and liberty, kind of told me. Well, broadly
Hazel knows
speaking, told me.
Yeah, Hazel knows she's missing one out. Retribution.
Retribution!
Yes.
Wait, what?
That too.
this is okay. Wait. Okay, so you said justice. What? What was it?
Liberty.
Liberty and
Yeah,
I'm
and,
intrigued.
and retribution.
I would, I wouldn't mind getting a fair bit of that here, but that's beside the point.
That's
Okay,
probably
so
the plan.
You were sent here by. Okay, you saying you were sent here by your god. Okay, I've heard stranger things. And so, Sig what now? Sigwold? Did I hear you say that?
Sigwold, yes.
Sigwold.
Sigwold,
Okay.
yes.
Okay.
Be polite, Darvin.
Oh, I just want to make sure I pronounce everything correctly. I'm gonna have to rhyme it later.
Francine is handing out mugs and going, "You lot, apart from you," pointing at Hazel, "have you given them your names yet?"
Apparently, they already know.
They know.
Well, at least
Do
they
you
know
know the rest of them? Technically, you do. Sigwald does. Whether he shared with Remy
Yes.
is
Mhm.
another question.
Yeah, I do think I told Remy if at any point she asked about like who are these.
I'm pretty sure that was meant to be who are
Frozen.
these people. You cut out.
A little bit
You
there.
wobbled a bit.
Sorry.
And there you go again.
You may want to jiggle the camera. Also,
That depends on.
There we go.
Yeah, his. Are you running anything in the background?
Hang on, let me see.
it might
let me
be
just,
roll 20 trying to take control of his camera.
Oh,
Let me
Double
try
check
and-
with permissions.
Let me try and nuke everything that's going on, as much as possible that's going on in the background.
Check your roll 20 settings. Make sure that it's not trying to send.
All right, let's see.
Yeah,
Let's
because
see.
mine
My
everything's
settings.
disabled.
Let's see.
Yeah, I
Enable
disabled
background
camera
chat
and
feed.
sound.
Disable. I'm just setting everything to. Whoops.
Whoa, what?
Hang on. Apparently, changing the settings caused the whole
No, it's
board
okay.
to reload.
No, it
that
happens
was on
too.
It's reloading. It's meant to
All
do
right.
that.
Okay. All right. So I've just disabled everything
Okay,
in my
that,
settings.
that may help.
Okay.
Okay, moving swiftly on.
Darvin, Froseth, Clarity. You apparently know Hazel. Okay.
He knows Andre. Makes me wonder what that one knows. I'm pointing now at Remy.
Well, I know that fog is definitely a problem, and
An understatement.
there's
Yeah.
Fog is evil.
understatement. Yeah, I'm here to fight that evil, get rid of that fog somehow.
Run. Okay. Well.
So okay.
How did
we
you know
need
of
to
it,
Tell them
though?
what the plan is, cause we gotta go into the manor, and either cleanse the thing or break it.
I'd rather not break it.
Cleanse
The
what
thing.
thing?
The
Thank
thing.
you.
What's the thing?
Okay. Has this?
Okay. Basically, the fog came about because apparently the heart of the barony was corrupted. So we either have to cleanse the heart or break it. One of the two.
Hmm.
They
Okay.
clearly,
What's
they clearly.
The heart of the barony.
Yeah, there you go.
This
Um,
heart of barony.
Hard to
What's-
explain. It's a box,
It's
which
a
sounds
box
ridiculous.
that
But
Well, it's probably
contains-
something in the box.
Well-
It contains, well, it's like take all the take like a lot of magic, make it part of the barony, and then put it all in a box. Like
it's if
Oh.
the barony had a spirit, that would be the heart of the barony.
Just
like
as the
it's-
old book said.
literally
So-
the very essence of the barony, which is why we'd rather cleanse it than break it, because if we break it, the barony dies.
Not all at once, but yes.
Hmm. Hmm.
Okay,
This
that's a
this is in line
problem,
with my
but you know where it
speculations,
is.
No, we have a. I mean, it's
We
probably
have
a
an
manner.
idea. It's probably in the manor where this mess started.
Froseth, being observant, probably will have seen lip read more than heard Sigwald going, "This is in line with my speculations." While these three are talking more logistics.
Okay, so we just have to get to the manor and
Through a lot
Just-
of stuff that just nearly killed all of us, so I think we need to sleep first.
Yeah.
Hold on. Before, outside, did you see a human paladin out there? We're waiting for a companion of ours.
You guys only edged around a little bit of it, so depending on where they were, you might not have seen them at all.
Hmm.
You
Yeah,
came from the ocean side.
I
we came
turned to
from
Remy
the coastline.
with a look at my face.
I take it that's a
Remy?
no.
We didn't see anyone that was
No, I'm
friendly
afraid
or
not.
willing to come up and be friendly, or
I was,
anything at all
I was
to come up
wondering
at
where
us.
Nora was.
How do you know Nora?
Are you guys? You going to
See,
explain how you know their names?
Oh right. Oh, I'm terribly sorry. Okay, getting out of character for a moment. What's the name of the bard that I learned all this from
Torin.
again?
Torin, the bronze dragonborn bard.
All right. Do you know of Torin the bard?
Oh yeah.
Yes.
He told
How's he doing?
me about you people. He told
Oh.
me about how you
Okay.
were.
I am facepalming.
Well, I mean, he's a bard. He's exchanging information. It's what we do.
Point.
Froseth. Whispers on the wind time again, as you're sitting there in your half asleep, I just died recently days. You know this voice, but it doesn't seem to be addressing you. Where's your god now? And then there's a voice that you also know. Where he should be. He's with them. Clarity, Froseth, Hazel. Very faint light begins to coalesce around your pendants. Kind of the reverse of what happened when they shattered, when that light formed and shattered from your life ward. And you each feel something. Froseth, a hand on his, like when he was first handed that pendant, when he got the vision of his family. Hazel, a smoothing down of her hair, when, the way Nora always has when she was calming Hazel down when she did the Studio Ghibli hair inflation thing. Clarity, an armored arm around her shoulder in a supportive hug. Darvin, phantom lips on the cheek. And Froseth hears one more sound. It's a kind of an unfamiliar sound, but you can just about figure it as the sound of very fine dust or ash hitting metal, and then a clatter, like armor falling. And then a small gust of wind, and then nothing. You three, your life wards are back. That's the last of Nora.
What?
That's the last protection she can give you.
What?
You three just see.
Can Sigmund tell that any of this happened?
Well, you can all see that very faint light form around the Hazel's pendant of Palor, this little purple flower in a glass setting around Clarity's neck, and some black onyx-looking pendant that you can just about see, sort of half under Froseth, where he might not be slumped at the table anymore, not after hearing that.
No. It's like bolt upright. It's like
Yeah, so there's a rectangle of onyx around his neck. If you want further details, you both can make a religion check.
Okay. I'm definitely going to do that. Hang on, let me bring up my sheet.
And I've just gone gray. I've just gone like, just pale, just because I'm
I
just.
have detached from Clarity and I'm grabbed the hammer, making a run for the door.
I'm going
I'm
after
gonna go
her.
run after her.
Okay.
Make sure she doesn't run out.
I got a 17 on my religion check.
It's not really any specific divine magic that you know, but you do know that sometimes, the magic that fits in the divine rather than the arcane categories, although given what you know, there's, you've probably got some
There's
big
an intersection.
you've probably got a big question about the definitions and what makes each.
Mhm.
But
Mhm.
usually it's clerics who can call for direct intervention from their gods, but in times of extreme duress, you got to imagine that paladins who've been, called to the same sort of thing as clerics have, must have some way of appealing to their gods. So, okay, I mean, Hazel and Clarity are bolting for the door. Remy's following. Are you trying to stop them, or are you going with them?
I'm
Depends on
definitely
how
chasing
far they're
after them,
going.
asking, "What happened? What happened?" And
Look, you're headed
I'm-
towards where I last saw Nora.
Yeah,
I'm getting the feeling something really bad happened.
she's heading out. She and Clarity are heading out of the flower barrier.
Yeah, I'm gonna grab one of them. Hold on a second. What just happened?
I'm gonna yell for Hazel.
Hazel, are you gonna stop at all?
Depending on which one Remy just grabbed. Did I get nabbed?
Okay, right. Oh, fuck this. Roll me initiative.
Oh no!
I can't decide who does what first.
Okay, how do I? Okay,
hold on.
Now I get to
That
learn
is
how to roll
great.
initiative. Just
Where did
click.
my?
This is the
I lost the
button.
window.
All right.
Me too.
And
Yeah, no, just
I
everybody.
do not
so
have a valid token. Did my
Holy
roll
shit.
still come
That's
up?
fine.
22.
Yeah, your roll
Yeah,
still came
the roll's
up.
still
Sorry,
coming up.
I
It does that
haven't
okay.
I haven't sorted out tokens for you guys yet. I will do that if we have to actually do combat. But this is just trying to figure out who does what first. Now I'm assuming Clarity is holding her action because she was going to run after Hazel.
Yeah, I would
And yeah,
just
Hazel hasn't started running yet because of initiative order. So effectively, that actually puts Sigwald. He's just asking what exactly happened.
yes.
Next up is Remy.
Remy.
Okay, so if no one's moving yet, then she'll let Sigvald ask the obvious question.
Well, you can
What's that?
Remy can probably tell that Hazel is looking at the door, getting ready to book. So
Okay, she's going to try to step halfway in front of the door and hold on. What's going on?
What we'll say is you'll use your movement to stand in front of the door and hold your action, which I assume will be to grapple Hazel if she tries to book it.
Yes.
Okay. That puts Darvin next in the initiative order.
And I was just gonna, since Remy's already in front, then I will basically. I mean, I see the look on Hazel's face. I know exactly what's going to happen because I saw the same look right before Hazel went running down that one alley way back when. So I will attempt to grab Hazel by the shoulder and just be like, hold it.
Okay, given that that's a grapple, so athletics
Okay.
from
Yep.
Darvin, athletics or acrobatics from Hazel, depending. I'm assuming it's athletics that's most for Hazel because strength is much higher.
It's
than her
athletics.
Yeah, and acrobatics is actually higher for me,
14.
but
Yeah, but that's not a grapple. Strength.
Okay,
Grapple is
gotcha.
is strength.
10.
Yeah,
Oh.
Darvin.
Hazel cannot be caught.
Hazel, well, it's more that Darvin is. I mean, he's gone grayish white and he's too stunned to really. But that does put.
Hazel, wait.
Froseth is next, and given what he's heard, he can probably actually stop this with 3 very simple words. It's too late.
I'm just trying to figure out what exactly he'd actually do here. Well, he'll stand up, yeah, and go over to Hazel, put a hand on her shoulder, like.
Is that actually restraining, or is it just?
No. Just like she's gone. It's too late.
I still have to try.
I'll if you have to, I will go with you. I won't. But
And I'm going for the door.
Remy is
And
standing.
Try
I'm going.
Remy is standing in your way. Remy,
Do not care. Going to go past her or through her if I have to.
Okay, Remy. Roll me athletics for grapple. Hazel to break said grapple, or evade said grapple.
Oh, thank goodness.
Remy is only like a couple of inches taller than your mom and mama. They can stop you. She's built like a fucking brick. And you just yeah, just basically grabs you by the shoulders the way you've been grabbing Sigwald. And she's not moving.
No.
Flailing now.
Tell us what's going on before everyone starts running out.
This was our friend. Is our friend. Let her go.
Is Froseth, who is the only one who really knows what happened, going to explain anything?
yeah, well, haven't really had the chance yet.
Yeah. Okay, but given that we've now stopped, we can leave the initiative order. This was just me trying to figure out whether Hazel got out the door first, because that changes everything.
Yeah.
Now that Hazel is stopped,
By a living brick wall.
Time out. Is there anything special we need to do to get out of initiative?
No. I just say initiative order is done.
Okay.
Now we are talking.
Okay.
Under normal circumstances, this would happen. Initiative order ends when everything is dead. But given that that's not what we're going for here,
Right.
anyway.
I'm falling into the nearest chair and just sitting down and I mean, I didn't hear any of that, but with our luck, it doesn't take a genius.
So, yeah.
Out of character here. I'm just waiting to see who's about to speak first.
It's usually a free for all unless someone has something to say, and even then, usually people are talking over people. So what I'm gonna say is that Remy and Sigwald can see that Froseth actually has answers if these three would just shut up for a minute.
I ask Froseth, what just happened? What happened to Nora? Did something happen to Nora?
That's it's hard to go into full detail, but the glowing on the necklace, whispers I heard on the wind does not. I believe she's dead.
Oh dear.
And you're almost entirely sure of that.
Froseth, to be fair, that sound you heard, that dusty sound, was her body being disintegrated.
Yeah, no, I realize that, but he doesn't want to believe it.
Okay.
Basically.
Okay, I get it. I'm just making sure I made myself clear here. Because sometimes I'm not sure.
Where was she last seen?
Just at the border. We have to look. We can't just do nothing.
I'm going to try and get out of Remy's grip.
Strength and athletics from both of you again. If Remy's still hanging on, is Remy still hanging on?
Well, if Hazel's still squirming, or
Okay.
squirming in the direction of the door,
Hazel,
both of you.
stop.
Both of you. Hazel's not stopping, apparently. Nope. Wall.
Of course, I'm very stopped regardless.
Wow.
Basically, you can actually just see Hazel's little feet paddling.
Just in the air.
And Remy's just still got her by the shoulder. It's just like, I've seen clerics like you. They usually run a little bit too far out into the battlefield, and then they get hurt a lot, and then I have to lay on hands, trying to keep them from dying. So could you stop, please?
Hazel, I don't want to. I don't want to lose anyone else. Stop.
We're not even going to look.
well, if
Not
you know
without
she's
thinking
gone,
first.
We go as a group. We're not going alone at this point. Not after what we just went through.
And there is one other consideration that you guys have not made, the four of you. Palor's beacon.
No, I'm thinking about it.
Yeah.
Even aside from the fact that she is our friend, she has things. She has a bag of holding. We need to retrieve these things. They're important. But more importantly, our friend might be dead.
do you have any idea where she is, though?
Mm-hmm.
That's
We
one
know
on
where
that.
she
Where
is.
was she last seen?
Yeah.
She was just over there.
We're going out, but we are not running out without thinking first. That was the only objection I had. We just need to calm down because we don't know what happened.
Yeah, Francine is currently just taking the mugs.
Why am I being the rat?
Away.
I was about to-
That was in character.
Yes, Francine turns around to Hazel and Clarity and she's going, I think all they want is for you two to take a deep breath so that you're not running out into whatever basically killed him, pointing at Furseth. Because as this one says, what happens if you run off all unaccountable?
I have finally stopped flailing.
Then Remy will let her go. But still stay in front of the door.
Okay.
So,
Not leaving.
what's it gonna take for us to be able to go out now? Because I can't sit here.
Not
No, we're not going to. I just needed everybody to just stop a second and breathe because we don't know what the hell just happened. And if it can do that, I don't want to be running all up into it and wind up with all of us getting killed.
So, then let's head in that direction, and we'll just have that Remy right in front of us, and we'll just point the way as we go.
Is everyone actually fit to go out into something dangerous? Looking
Have
at
we,
the
have we
Dragonborn?
actually slept?
No,
Or
not
is
yet.
this- Yeah. So,
Have we had- Could we have been considered to have a short rest
You could be considered to have a short rest, yes. So
so we can use hit dice?
you can use hit dice. I don't know where Furseth is hit points wise, but he's still at disadvantage for everything. At least
Yeah.
until he slept.
Wait, for
We're all-
ability checks and attacks and saves?
everything.
Wow.
Everything. That's what
Shit.
exhaustion does to you.
Okay. How many levels of exhaustion does he have?
Funnily enough, only one.
Wait.
It gets
what?
worse.
The first
I
level
thought-
of exhaustion is just ability checks, isn't it?
Yeah, isn't it?
Well, in
Just
all,
the-
in all fairness, I'm leaving it that way for now because he should, given resurrection, have more than he does.
Yeah.
But he's we're kind of we're A, kind of speeding this along, and B, there was kind of a nice little home remedy that Francine managed to give him, which is going to remove all of the resurrection exhaustion after his next long rest, but it does mean that, yeah, he is at disadvantage for everything.
Oh.
And he's tired. He is so tired.
I'm rolling hit dice, just FYI.
Okay.
Okay.
You guys shouldn't need to. You guys are. You're looking at these people, and there's bandages.
I
there's
know we're pretty
bruises.
fresh, but I do have a question.
Mm.
Since I'm a divination wizard, I can roll 2 portents.
Yes,
after
I was
finishing
actually going to ask you to do that, but I didn't know whether we were going to do combat in
Okay.
this day. I
All
still
right.
don't.
Okay.
A lot of it depends on you guys. I mean, roll them now, but keep in mind that if you don't end up in a combat situation before your next long rest, which is actually coming up, you're gonna have to roll them again. But roll them now.
I know. Roll. It's all just lose all previous portents. I am no stranger to this. So, do I have to keep it a secret from the other players, or?
No, not necessarily, because I need to know what they are.
And so roll 2d20. Uh-oh. Shit, how do I do this?
Right, there's a dice roller in the corner.
Hang on. Oh, there it is. Okay. All right. There's my portents.
15 and 14. Okay.
I'm gonna put that on in my bio for now.
Okay. So, are you guys heading out? Are you guys heading out?
I would say yes.
Clarity wants to.
Yes.
It seems Clarity wants to. Hazel wants to. Sigwald is in favor of this. So.
Remy will go along with it, but she's giving the Dragonborn a major side eye. He does not look like he's ready for it.
For a
He
second.
realizes this, but he's not staying back for this either. So
Okay, are you going stealthy or are you just rampaging?
I'm stealthing.
I'm going to try to be as sneaky as I can.
Yeah, that.
Okay, keep in mind,
I'm gonna move lightly.
the cost of plate armor is more than just gold. Remy is at disadvantage for all stealth checks.
Yeah.
That armor clanks. All of you, roll me stealth.
All right.
22.
Let's see here. Core.
18.
There we go.
13. Oh no!
And you didn't even click
Oh!
disadvantage. You didn't even click
That is a
disadvantage, and you
natural
didn't
one.
have to. Okay, this is I'm going to be nice to you. This is a group check. So you're
Okay.
basically, you've got Remy in the lead, and you did this clank, 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 and you do stop her and just go. Can you not?
No.
Yeah. So Remy gets from the very occasionally, and there's this noise from a corner, at which point tiefling hands grab Remy, drag her into a shadow, and just until it passes.
And every once in a while, you've got Darwin just sort of like trying to find the loose bit and just stop the client while we're moving.
The old
Okay.
you two have
Oh,
not
crap, that's what? Whoops, sorry.
you two have not spent a terrible lot of time in the fog. Their path has had to take them through a residential area. What you see It's thick, thick fog. You can barely see 10 feet in front of you. You can occasionally see shadows of things moving, which is when, Clarity or Darvin or somebody drags Remy into a corner and just waits until they pass. But they can't get too close to the walls because climbing up the walls are these globs of tar-like substance which is actually moving with this sort of squelchy noises, and the smell is like alchemically created honey. It's chemically and a little bit sulfury and way too sweet in this indefinably wrong way. And these four seem basically inured to it. It grosses them out, but they're not what the fucking the way you guys are.
Don't
Weird.
look at it too long.
Get used to it.
This
don't-
is the
yeah,
most
just don't look at it.
Don't look and don't touch it.
I say quiet.
It
I say-
swirls. It's just don't let it touch you and don't touch it.
Eventually, through this and with several false starts, as they have to stop Remy until some creature moves out of earshot, they get to the border edge. What they find is inside the fog, there's a faint scattering of ash. It's starting to turn a weird blackish color. It's clearly reacting badly with the fog. Outside the circle is a discarded and empty set of very familiar armor. The bag of holding is still there. Palor's beacon is not.
Hazel. Breathe.
Do I have like an empty jar or something?
You don't want to touch that. You can't. It was pretty clearly scattered inside the zone for a reason. This was to prevent I'm just giving this to you. This was to prevent any hope of resurrection. Not to mention the fact that Hazel and Remy will know this. If this is what Remy thinks it is and what Hazel knows in her heart it is, Nora's spirit is not. It's in there.
She's gone.
Wait,
Gone.
What's
Gone.
it in?
The
It's
pendants.
around. It's in their.
Oh.
It's in their new death wards.
Sorry, I'm talking to the character
Oh,
here.
okay.
Yeah.
I am collecting the bag of holding and slowly putting the armor in it.
I'm gonna keep watch for whatever could reduce somebody to ash.
Yeah,
Hazel-
because Froseth hasn't explained he heard who did it.
And I am handing Clarity the bag once I'm done.
Can I be looking around the general area trying to find clues of whatever did this?
Make me an Arcana check to start with. Clarity
Okay.
can do so as well. You've both had similar training. Or, well,
Okay.
Clarity has stolen similar training.
Crafty
15.
tunnel.
Yeah, this was a very powerful
19.
this was a very powerful magic user. A spell that can there are spells that can turn someone to ash, but they are only in use by very powerful spellcasters, and Clarity knows of one that might
That-
have reasons.
It was her, wasn't it, Proseth?
Yes. It was that bitch.
I am going to break her face.
We know who did this.
Yeah, and we're gonna kill her. Let's get back now.
Who is it? Who?
Wait.
We'll
I
We'll
want
explain
it.
when
We'll
we're
later.
back.
explain
Now.
later.
Move.
Hazel, I want to know now. Is it okay? I don't want. I know where she is. I know that Nora is with us now, but I want to collect something, bury her properly, not just leave her here. Can I at least, if I touch her ashes, is it going to hurt me? Is it tainted somehow?
Given the color it's turning, probably yes.
I'm gonna convey this because I'm the one who was asked.
All right.
The best way to bury her is going to be to bury this. Let's go.
As much as I would like to do with clarity, saying Darvin's got a point. Let's just get back to the piecemeal and get this done.
Done.
But before we leave, I'm going to try, assuming this is going to fail, in the fog where the bits of ashes are, try to use my elemental affinity to get some sort of pure water to just kind of wash it.
You're a ways from
Yeah,
significant pure water because I've been. Do you have a water skin?
I do.
That could work. And it doesn't even need
Yeah.
elemental attunement, elemental affinity. You just
Yeah.
Pour one out. I'm sorry.
Yeah. So
you guys are horrible.
What?
One from my pallies.
There is still also her symbol of Palor pendant.
I'm going to pick that up. And I'm just hanging on to it. I guess
Yeah.
I'm either putting it on properly or just hanging on to it.
Yeah, keep in mind that it's probably going to clank against the one you're already wearing.
Don't care. May
Yeah.
as well put it on.
You don't stop, I'm going to start making you take disadvantage on stealth checks.
Don't worry, I'll find somewhere better for it later.
Okay. For the sake of brevity, I'm going to take your current your stealth roll. It's still slower than it was the first time, and it feels. And it is darker because the sun is starting to go down, but it feels colder in an indefinable way, and it doesn't help when that thing from above, which you guys can now see a little clearer, it's got 4 wings and it appears to be dripping. And
Don't look up.
Can I finally see it now?
Yes.
Don't look up.
It shrieks. And it almost sounds triumphant. It could just be your imagination playing tricks on you, but given the frame of mind you're in right now, you still get back more or less without incident.
Sigmund shakes his fist at it once it's out of sight.
Once it's out of sight.
I love the one just out of sight. That's brilliant.
You are terrible. And that's amazing.
The
When-
cojones. This one.
When you get back to the piecemeal, Francine has broken out what appears to be her last bottle of the exceptional whiskey and poured out 7 shots. The last one is sort of set a little bit aside for one of you to actually pour one out. She's been paying attention. She's just doing the unobtrusive innkeeper thing. Just
I-
says food up in about 5 minutes.
I'm
Not
gonna pick
being.
up the one that
Yeah, go ahead.
I'm gonna pick up the one that was set aside and the one that was, one of the other ones that was just for me. Tenora, then.
Tenora.
Nora.
Sonora.
Yep.
And down the hatch goes the one that was mine, and I'm still looking at the other one, trying to figure out where and how would be appropriate.
Francine actually steps over, takes Hazel's
Sorry,
hand.
sorry to interrupt.
Um,
Are there any particular entrances and exits to the piecemeal? Like, is there a fence around the piecemeal with like certain gates in particular areas?
No, there's a ring of flowers and there's the front door.
Okay. After Sigwald, in that case, after Sigwald takes his shot, he goes to the front door and starts doing a alarm ritual.
Okay, yeah, you can do that in the clear section. While Sigwald is just stepping out, Remy's seen him practice this on the ship, so she knows what he's doing. The rest of you, not so much. But Francine just literally takes Hazel's hand with the shot in it, going, I can see you're pissed. Why don't you just throw it at something? I'm fairly sure that Nora wouldn't mind just this once. Pats her on the back and heads back to where she's putting stew together.
And yeah, I just pitch it.
Anywhere in particular? Wall, fireplace? Please not a window.
Fireplace.
Yeah, there's this woomph. Kind of fitting, really. This little sunburst of fire just explodes in the fireplace. The half dozen or so other survivors, because you two will have noticed that there are like half dozen other people looking terrified, confused, and just trying to stay out of everybody's way. They apparently happen to. Well, you don't know. You just know there's a half a dozen people and Francine, apparently. And they're just trying to stay well out of the way of all of this craziness, because this is adventurer shit. They're not adventurers.
Sorry.
All right. Now that we're back, I'm taking off the Nora's pendant and
Hazel.
just looking at it, like trying to figure out where to.
Darwin's,
Hazel. Hazel.
Hmm?
Can I?
I hand it to Darwin.
And I'm just gonna I'm gonna pocket it. So I was looking at it, trying to decide, and I'm gonna put it in my pocket for now.
kind of a shame Sigwald missed that.
Oh,
In any case, because Sigwald's outside doing whatever it is
Mhm.
he's doing, it's.
I thought he was just I thought he was just kind of sitting down, doing it right in front, like just sitting inside the building in front of the front door.
Yeah.
But,
Okay. Well, no, he can be, but he'd still be focused more on the ritual than that.
Of course.
Because
of
it's, I
course.
mean, it's ritual magic. He still missed it because that's the whole drawback to ritual magic. That's where your focus is.
Yeah.
So
Clarity's just gonna wander off to the side of the door and take out her notebook because she doesn't know what else to do and starts writing notes about what he's doing.
when things settle down, you two are gonna have a conversation. Okay. By the time Sigwald is done with whatever it is he's doing, there's
It takes about 10 minutes.
yeah, there's dinner at that point, and basically Francine just arranges you around a table away from the rest of these survivors and sets down food and returns your ale to you, and says, "We're gonna leave you because this is so far beyond most ours. But I reckon you need to talk, so we'll be over here if you need anything. Please try not
Thank
to need
you.
anything."
We'll be fine. Thank you.
Thank you, Francine.
And she pats Clarity on the shoulder and ruffles Hazel's hair a bit and heads out. And given the time that we're at and the depth of the conversation that is going to come next, now is when we will take our 5-minute break.
Mhm.
We will return in 5 minutes after, get a drink, use the loo, whatever, and we'll be
I
back
need water.
we'll be back to discuss a lot of shit.
Oh man, this is gonna be a talking episode. I'll be
Oh,
back.
yeah. And we're back. They've the Cupcake Coterie and their two new friends, who may or may not now actually just be randomly considered, because Hazel at the very least just glumps people as a general rule, have just discovered the disintegrated body of Nora Bailey. And they've been settled down with dinner and drinks, and they have a lot of talking to do. Over to you.
See, who speaks first?
Okay. So there is a heart of barony in the manor. It's being corrupted, and it's causing the fog that's doing terrible things to people, right?
Uh-huh.
Do you know how to cleanse it?
Uh-uh.
Okay. One step at a time. In the morning, you can go to the manor, get the heart, figure something out from there.
And you four are going. You make that sound so easy. Sorry.
Even Sigwald's a little like, just walk there, like we're heading downtown, and it's not filled with zombies. He's just thinking that to himself.
Well, making our way downtown, walking fast.
Oh,
If only.
no, you got him started!
Maybe not too fast. We don't want to draw too much attention.
Mhm.
Last time we tried to, quote unquote, walk downtown, Froseth died. Twice. Or three
No.
times.
No,
No,
was
he
knocked
died
unconscious.
Well, he died the once.
Knocked.
He got knocked unconscious. What? 3 times? I think.
I don't even remember.
3 times.
Well, of course
yes.
not. You were unconscious.
Yeah.
I spent the entire time making sure he was still standing at the end there.
Thanks to me.
Yeah. Well, that was the heat of the moment. Don't worry about it. Hey, at least it wasn't Thunderwave.
Well,
You are never allowed to mention that again.
we are our own worst enemy, apparently.
Sigvald sits up.
You're new.
What's this about a Thunderwave incident?
Shit. Bad spell placement. on my part.
Long
You are
story
not allowed.
short.
To mention it ever again.
Long story short, Darwin is the only one out of us who has not died yet.
Yet, being a key word.
Remy
Oh.
looks a little bit worried now.
Yeah, but Remy's
Sigvald's frowning and stroking his
Yeah,
beard.
I don't know why you're looking so worried. You're the one in the armor.
not to mention the fact that, this is clearly, from what Remy can tell, and she's seen, and she was this green recruit a year or so ago.
Look, do you want to know how long I've been an official bard? How many weeks?
2
Yeah, that's right. 2 weeks.
weeks.
What exactly have you been fighting that's in the way of the manor? What's out there?
Well,
Barnacle zombies.
walking
Okay.
sword and weird, tentacly, acid-spitting.
It used to be a person. Now
Yeah.
it's opened up from top to bottom and there's tentacles flying out of the middle.
And acid.
Sigvald's taking
Yeah.
notes. It used to be human, undead,
Process.
spits acid,
Process.
tentacles.
Froseth.
Yep.
Make me a wisdom check.
And they don't like radiance.
At disadvantage, right?
Yeah.
5.
You know there's more. If you weren't so fucking tired, you could think of what it was, but there's flashes from what the water showed you that indicates that even that's not the worst of it.
Yeah, and I mean, you saw the thing flying around. There's other stuff too. This is just like what we've seen. Well, and there was the thing at the beginning that, with the kick and anyway.
There was, yes, when we were last here, there was a gibbering mouther,
That's what it was.
and
Sorry, I kind of.
Well, given that that's Evan's mother, you're trying not to think about that too hard.
Yeah, given that it also, opened up and spewed on mine, I'm also trying not to think about that too much.
I, the player, am really confused because my name is Evan.
Yeah.
So
In this case, Evan is
it's
a,
your
we're
mother.
talking about,
in this
we're
case,
talking about the little kid Evan, right?
yes,
in
this
NPC. Okay.
in this circumstance, Evan is a 4-year-old little red-haired freckle-faced gnome that they managed to rescue from the burning of the Undercity.
And I basically adopted.
Oh. Darwin is
Okay.
too sad. Okay.
Is there anyone else alive outside of this tavern within the relative vicinity?
No.
Alive?
And friendly?
Okay,
Not that
no.
we're aware of.
Yeah,
Not that we're aware of.
keep in mind that Francine did mention that there had been more people here, that they ran out because cabin fever got to them. They thought maybe they could make it. She clearly saw what happened. She clearly did not want to talk about it.
She clearly saw that one Stephen King book.
Sigvald elaborates on Remy's previous question. Aside from
You're breaking up again.
Sorry. To elaborate on what Remy asked earlier, Sigvald asks, what other assets do we have? aside from people?
We have us. This. I'm holding up the hammer.
Okay, given a better look, Remy, try me perception one more time. I do not believe
you
you
have any-
keep failing this.
Do you have any horses?
That's really starting to
You're
that is really starting to bug you. You know who made that, and it's
All right.
really
oh my God.
pissing you off.
I just. God damn it. It went too fast for me. I just realized too late. I could have done something. God damn it.
Sorry.
Okay.
Whatever it was, once it's laid, it's
This.
played.
Pull
Yeah.
out staff of healing. This.
Yes,
And a whole.
the weapon thing is really starting to piss Remy off right now. Mostly because it's pissing me off.
What's that?
Okay.
Wait. What's that? What's the look on your face for?
Can I see that hammer really quick?
I carefully put it down on the table.
You can about avoid the. Yeah, you know who made this. You just can't think of who, and it's really aggravating.
Why do you
Where
wanna
did
see
you
my
get
hammer?
it from? It
From
looks
Jenna.
very familiar.
Jenna.
Yeah.
Okay, that makes a certain amount of sense. And it does tie into where you know the name Hearthheart from. Her name is Jenna Delbrie, and they call her the Steel Singer. Once she was Belarace's primary smith. She crafted weapons for Hial Fortinbras himself, but she retired about 20 years ago. Criminally early, but she'd mostly been working with the quick flight diminutives, and after that she was working exclusively for the governor of Belarace, and then she wandered off basically going, I'm done with this. And no one knows where she went, and it actually, the entire mercenary community has been sort of there's still some of her weapons floating around, and they are worth a veritable mint. So the fact that each and every one of these baby yahoos are carrying Steel Singer weapons is all of a sudden just what?
Okay, that is. Remy looks slightly less worried now because
What?
she's very distracted by that.
What? Wait.
Why?
Wait. It's a very nice hammer made by someone we know. So why do you
Where did you find that?
why do you
I am
look so
putting the staff
gobsmacked?
away. I am picking up my hammer and putting that away.
She'll give her
Carefully.
the hammer back. Where did you meet the blacksmith that made that?
She lives in our hometown.
And that's probably
Used to
about
work
the-
with Mom and Mama. Like, apparently all the time now. Then probably a lot longer than I thought she did.
Yeah, that's the Mom and Mama is throwing you, because as far as you're aware, Rand Hearthheart is a man.
Looking like a man.
God damn it, Ethan.
I'm sorry, it just came out. I thought I was muted.
Carry on.
Okay. Anyways, do we have any horses?
No.
You.
And
No.
frankly, I don't want to see what this stuff would do to a horse.
Okay, it's a good point. About how far
I
out
can't even
is
ride a horse.
There is
about how
there is
far out is the manor?
It's a good 2 miles from here.
2 miles or so.
We're gonna have
Yeah.
to walk it.
Yeah, actually, as Jarvan is saying, he doesn't want to see what horses exposed to this would look like. There is this noise that sounds like it might have been a neigh, kind of.
Hmm.
You had to say it, Darvin. You had
Sigmund
to
has
say
a-
it.
They brought
Um,
they brought it up. They brought it up.
Sigmund,
Remy is a she.
Okay.
okay.
Sorry.
Well,
Sigmund,
I'm
Sigmund
assuming
asks,
Remy's
sorry.
taken her helmet off by now.
Yes, Remy's definitely taking her helmet off.
Okay.
Do we get any kind of indication of what else she looks like that's not just armor?
I borrowed her name from Jamie Alexander's character on Blind Spot, so she probably
Nice!
looks like her because she's Lady Sif too,
Yes.
and she's amazing.
Awesome.
If we haven't seen Blind Spot,
Yeah,
is she the Latina looking lady with the long dark hair?
No, she's
She's the one
Lady
with the
Sif.
tattoos, right?
Wait, the actress who did.
I'll Google her later.
It's in the Skype
Oh!
chat.
Okay.
Yeah, but
that-
if I switch that on, it's
I
gonna
see.
appear in the
Be in the video.
recording. So I'll look
Okay.
later. Thank you.
Oh,
Alright.
okay.
Lady Sif from Thor 1 and 2.
okay.
Remy's a human?
Never seen those either. Yes,
Yes,
Remy's human.
Remy is a human.
Okay.
Okay. What have you noticed about the monsters? How do they react? Are they coordinating? Are they communicating?
They're shuffling around and gurgling and trying to stab anything that's still alive, namely us.
Yeah, that's pretty much it.
To be fair, you
So
guys
So they've
didn't
only
see- you guys
come
didn't see
up when
enough
they
to
hear
know.
you.
They can hear, they react, I mean,
Can they see?
I
Yeah.
guess
Yeah.
so.
yeah,
They found us. And
and they
yeah,
hurt.
They do hurt.
Did anyone mention they do more than just hitting?
Well, we mentioned the acid.
Yep.
You
And
want to
they-
be careful. You want to be careful if you get hurt out in the fog.
Oh yeah, the
it,
salve, which I
it infects.
pull out and show to these two.
um,
You get scratched while out there. This is gonna go on the scratches. Like
Within a
even
few
minor
seconds.
injuries, this goes on it.
Everything.
No exceptions.
It itches. It burns. It's not a good feeling. You don't
Does
want
Sigmund
it.
make the connection between the crawling sensation and the open wound? That's how they get
make
in.
me an intelligence check.
All right, just flat intelligence. All right.
I guess it could be Arcana.
Okay. All right. Arcana. Here we go. Normal roll. Bleh.
It's inconclusive. I mean, it clearly can get in if you don't have the protection that apparently all of you have without an open wound. But it's possible. And again, this is just a theory, and it's kind of a weird theory, and you'd need to run it through somebody with a bit more medicine lore than you have to really sink it home. But
Right.
it feels like, you know, the protection is on you, but there's a loophole in the blood.
Huh.
It wouldn't make
Okay,
it
so-
maybe wouldn't corrupt you, or it might take a long time doing it, but it'll certainly that's probably the connection that you might make if you had like time to study it and you really wanted to study any of this bullshit.
Take a note of
So
that.
nobody has any idea what these things are, like where they originate from, what kind of magic.
Nope.
etc.
All I,
Used
All I
to
know
be
is-
people.
There is a woman.
They used to be
There is a
people.
woman who is a gal. Go ahead.
Well-
She's the reason. There's a like Clarity said. There's a woman who had the Baron corrupt the heart. The heart started spewing this fog. The fog's doing this to people. There's also this black stuff. You've seen it. It's all over the buildings.
It's what that honey-like smell is.
Clarity, help!
It's a corruption that's people were trying to guard against. We think that the that the Baron and this woman has let it loose, and it's what's causing all of this. And when I mentioned earlier outside that it was her, we're talking about this very powerful magic user. She is the one who killed our friend.
To be fair,
But you don't know anything else about her.
to be fair, the black ooze is not 100% new to Remy. the worst thing that ever happened to her while she was merking, doing the mercenary campaign stuff, a lot of her company was lost in this. They tracked down a bunch of cultists to what was supposed to be a cavern hideout out in the southern lands somewhere. But Remy doesn't even really remember the name. It was that frenetic. But she could find her way back again if she had to. The cavern was not just cultists. If it had been, it wouldn't have been an issue. These people were gray, sunken-eyed, and almost but not quite mindless, and she could just about catch a glimpse of something black and oozing and moving further down into the tunnel, but she didn't get that far because there were sounds and screaming, and somebody called for the retreat, and there was nothing to do but go. Eventually, they
I was
probably
gonna,
got,
I was
yeah,
gonna
they,
ask if
yeah,
you knew
they
heard
were
of
they.
any of this.
As far as Remy remembers, they were gonna try and get a couple of wizards to fireball the crap out of it, but Remy was more or less cold at that point, going, "Okay, you see the problem now? Go fix."
Okay. Mm,
Very loud deity, that one.
Retribution.
Eh.
At the very least, given what you guys have discovered, at least you know she's pretty well on your side now. This on even if she hadn't been called to deal with this specific threat, or the underlying threat behind this specific threat, now it's personal. Now she's really got a reason. I mean, she's an Oath of Vengeance paladin. She's so on your side at this point.
They were doing a ritual when we were last here. There were sigils in this old infernal language, talking about a god of the sun, versus these eaters of the sun. Sorry, and waking the sleepers or the dreamers, and a thing called the boiling meme. And what I gathered is that the power of this woman is not. It's like the opposite of a druid. It's not infernal, not a sorcerer, not a wizard, or it's very difficult to pin down. But it's there's so little that we know, but that's really all that we know of her.
And we keep finding. Well, we found a bunch of cultists not too long ago with this on them. I've pulled out the symbol.
Yeah, it probably really only makes sense to Remy, and that only in a sort of a vague kind of a way. It looks like what would happen if somebody really wanted to offend a cleric or paladin of Paylor by bastardizing the symbol of their worship. Basically,
Just a note.
Remy would run through somebody who did something like that to her holy symbol.
Oh.
Just the thing, don't burn anything with this on it. At least not while you're right next to it. Stuff comes out.
Yeah,
Toxic,
thanks for the reminder.
horrible stuff.
Yeah, and it nearly kills you.
So Paylor hasn't said anything, has he?
Paylor's
Other
had
than-
words, but nothing really direct outside of burn it.
Okay.
To be fair, that was Hazel, but this is through her. This is through her filter, so I'm just gonna let it go. Clearly,
Which is basic.
Paylor's been a bit more subtle in his nudges with Hazel because
Hang on.
Hazel
I'm
doesn't need
I'm
much.
being called. I'll be
Yeah.
right back.
Yeah, Hazel doesn't seem
Yeah?
to need much nudging.
Okay.
Unfortunately, I'm sure Remy and Nora could have had a conversation about what kind of call they had.
Okay, I'm back. Sorry.
But clearly, Paylor's been more leading, whereas Tritherian just gave a shove.
God of retribution. Go!
Oh,
By
so
your
what's
powers combined.
the barrier that's protecting this inn? What kind of magic is
that.
that?
That's wild magic. That was when we got here.
You've
That's
gone
thanks-
buffer. Oh, there you go.
When we got here, long story short, we ended up in the Undercity. We met
Mira.
Mira. Thank you. I lost the name. Mira and Petunia, gave their life to erect the barrier that
made the barrier, turned themselves into the barrier.
basically, and that's why we have the time that we have.
Sigwell raises his hand at this moment. You refer to Petunia as they. Was Petunia more than one person?
Petunia was Petunia.
Yeah, basically. Petunia was singular.
Does Sigwald understand the concept of gender neutral pronouns?
Sigwald comes from Belarus, which is actually a lot more of a cosmopolitan area than anywhere in Baronsphere. It was weirder for them than for Sigwald's probably encountered a couple of gender neutral people and has probably encountered more than a few trans people, whether he knew it or not.
Okay.
But-
I accidentally offended Petunia here and there.
Yeah.
Does,
I'm glad that
does,
I
did Darvin
apologize.
did Darvin just say that, or was that?
Yes. Yes, he
Okay.
did.
Sigwald's like, okay, I understand. Okay.
I
Okay,
apologize.
so if the creatures try to cross the barrier, do they get destroyed? Do they burst into flames? Or do they just not
don't
approach
cross the barrier.
We don't know.
I'd rather not
They
find
just
out.
don't.
it? Okay.
I just from what we've seen, they just don't cross the barrier.
They just don't go near it, and I'm fine with that. Yeah. Like I said, we were just gonna go. I mean, we think there's at least there's the back way or secret way or underway, however you want to put it, into the manor via the prison.
Dungeons. Yeah.
Prison, thank you. Which is how we got there in the first place. There's the main front door.
Is there
And then
the
there
fog
were
underground?
Probably.
more than likely, yeah. I was actually going to say more than likely.
There were buckets
more like-
and barrels and everything full of the black crap down
Yeah,
there.
regardless of whether or not the fog is down there, when we went down in the dungeon before the fog even started, they had for the basement basically full of barrels of this stuff and guards that I have no idea.
We're turning into the barnacle things.
Yeah,
Yes.
it's like
They had already changed.
they didn't exactly. It wasn't exactly like they dipped them into the stuff, and it was like in a thing. Ugh.
A
It was
thing.
like
A thing. Can you describe the thing?
Guard, turning colors, barnacles on an arm in the shape of a club?
He's talking about Darvin's
the
talking
thing
about the
that-
pod.
yeah.
He's
I
talking
don't
about the
know that
chrysalis
Darwin would
pod.
have that.
I wasn't there for the pod.
He's not done much gardening. I don't think.
Well, no, but it's enough of a term that he'd be able to figure it out.
Okay. Yeah, it's like a pod thing.
Oh, the squishy looking.
Yeah. They go. They're encased in this, I guess, and then they come out, and they're not exactly a beautiful butterfly.
They're barnacle
Sigwald's getting the
people.
mental image of some kind of eldritch uterus and going, ugh.
Yeah, to be fair, at least 4 people here have at least some idea of what the fuck it is I'm talking about.
I know exactly what it is. I'm just
Condoms.
the character.
Anyway,
And yeah, but given that that was all in the basement, even if the fog's not there, it probably is. But even if it isn't, I don't think we want to go back down there.
And
'Cause
even
it
on the
probably-
floors, there
Okay,
were
that's fair.
black tentacles,
That-
oozing tentacles and things.
Didn't one
Yes.
try to get you or something?
Yeah, they were
Like,
trying to. It was grabbing.
That's what it was. I
Yeah,
remember
it
you
was
being,
not-
really close.
The
and one of them
darkness
was
is very handsy.
So it'd be
Okay.
fair to say that we'd be more likely to be impeded going underground than topside, would you say?
At this point, I don't know the real good way in, but yeah, the
Well,
basement
we
sounds like a bad idea.
We thought that there might be a servant's entrance because it's a baron's mansion, but we're not positive.
Yeah,
we
we
got
didn't get
interrupted on our
Well, we
way
would
there.
still have to get to the manor.
Yeah.
and we didn't get very far.
Yes, but it might be a better way in than the front door.
No,
Mostly
I mean,
because
manor.
of the
That's the
nightmares.
problem. It's
I
the
may be a
approach.
bard, but this is one time making a grand entrance doesn't seem like a good idea.
The
So,
front door is probably bad because of, remember the nightmares? Guys?
I.
all right. So, if I understand correctly, one of our preferred options is going to be to go overground through the city, reach the servant's entry to the mansion.
If there
Is
is
that
one.
about right? All right.
Right.
All right.
That's
We
We just
plan
need to
A.
figure out how to distract the creatures that are between
Well-
here and the manor.
I have a bad idea.
Oh. Well, you're in
Are
good
any of you
company
fam-
here.
That doesn't exactly instill confidence.
Yeah,
Are
I'm
you
like,
familiar
wow.
with the? Are you familiar with the cantrip, dancing lights?
I am.
Yes.
What?
You know that I can make them person shaped and up to 120 feet away from us.
you're buffering again.
Sorry. Then you know that I can take the dancing lights, form them into the shape of a person, and materialize them about 120 feet away.
No,
How would you
that's
say
a
they'd
start.
react to that as a distraction?
Rafi, toggle your camera.
All right, hang on. Oof.
I don't know.
There we go.
I mean, I don't know.
Yeah.
We don't really have any idea whether they react
Yeah.
to sound or light or what in particular, if anything. I mean, hell, they just may even just resonate with the fact that, we're alive. I don't know.
More than likely.
Right. If they just
Well, in the morning, we
Wait.
can find out whether they will chase a light or a noise, or if they, smell a person, or figure out what their senses are. And then once we're sure of that, we can figure out another step.
I mean, yeah, either way, we need some sleep.
Yeah, definitely.
Sigwald does still have a few things he might want to start talking about.
Let's see. Well, thinking in character terms, he was all stoked to compare notes about magical phenomena and magical history and stuff, but someone just died. He's a little hesitant
Okay.
about whether or not to
But
actually
on
bring
the
this
oth- on
up.
the other
But
hand,
he-
he
but he's
doesn't-
kind of itching. He is kind of itching for
Yeah,
it.
basically, you probably all know that look. That is this the time look, and it might be important. You never know.
Mm-hmm.
Sigwald,
Right.
just
Spit
go.
it out.
Go.
Just
Just
say
go.
it. Don't
Just
spray it.
Well,
We've seen.
since we're going,
look,
we're going to bed, how do you
What-
feel about a bedtime story
Oi!
about the origin of everything?
And Remy is probably actually in character, just face palming,
Yeah.
because
Yeah,
she's
looks-
put up with
looking at
this
him
for
like-
3 days. And then again, if Remy has ever asked, what is your deal exactly? He's been saying, I prefer wait until we're all together. So she's actually been waiting
Okay.
for some explanation for this bullshit
All
for 3
right.
days.
Okay, I've seen that
Okay.
look on
Looking at him like,
Eric's face. There's magic
I
involved.
will shove something in your ears?
Oh, it's not me
She
this
does
time.
that.
All right,
She's slowly getting up and moving towards him.
moving towards Sigwald.
Apparently.
Okay,
Finger in ear.
Puts a hand on Hazel's shoulder,
Ears.
forces
Okay.
her back into the chair.
Watch your ears.
Okay,
Has-
fine. I'll
Fingers
do it
in
later.
ears.
And let's see. And I reading the mood here. Let's see. I'm not sure how to deliver this stuff and be in character at the same time, so I'm gonna drop character and try to explain this as best as I can.
Okay. But
And,
before you do that, Sigwald does meet the last member of the party as a weight lands on the brim of his hat. And
Right.
You've seen fairy dragons before. A few of your colleagues and people, older than you
Oh.
at the university, have these as familiars. This is a fairy dragon, blue, so it's actually got some relatively significant magical abilities for something of its size. And in Draconic, hello.
And that's Flitty.
Oh, hello.
And
Did he?
apparently that was in Draconic, so Froseth understood it. This one could talk to me! Looks up at Froseth. This one could talk to us!
And I say in Draconic, has this been somewhat of a bother to you lately?
No, it's just really nice when it happens. Hi!
Hello
baseball
again.
and
It's very
Sylvan
nice to meet you.
saying,
I extend a pinky for Flitty to shake.
Flitty
If
sort of
she- if
hovers
she's in-
and struggles a little bit and shakes the pinky.
Oh God, that is the cutest thing ever.
And then sort of, I'm gonna go over there because I think that the lady with the horns needs snuggles now, and flies up to Clarity, curls up around her neck, and then looks up at Froseth and Sigwald and goes, "I'm the moral support."
You keep that up.
I have
Looks
no
like a
idea
hard
what
job.
Flitty said, but I'm sure it was adorable.
Thanks,
I'm-
Flitty.
And Sylvan, I'm turning to Flitty. What was that?
I am the moral support, and he can talk to me. He can talk Draconic.
Oh, good. Scritch, 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 scritch.
Okay. So, for starters, I'm sure you're all familiar with the creation story, with the Genesis story of the gods and how they came to be with the emergence of the natural forces of the world.
You are. You've seen them written on a wall.
Mhm.
We've, yeah, it was on an entire wall. If we weren't
All right.
sure of it at that point, we definitely know it now.
All right. Then what if I told you? Let's see. And this is where I need you to check in with me if I actually understand this correctly.
That's what I'm here
What if
for.
I told you that this world that they made is a magical construct?
What?
So the holy and the arcane are unified somehow in this world. Nothing
What?
is nothing is
What now?
truly nothing is truly mundane. There is. It's almost as though the gods performed a cosmos-wide polymorph on the material of the universe.
I like that.
What?
I
What?
like that so much.
I'm confused,
Remember,
and I
it's
haven't even
confused.
finished my ale yet.
That-
I'm
I'm
confused.
usually fairly good at grasping things, and that no.
That went somewhere that sounds like
I
it's
feel like
edging
I
on
just walked into
blasphemy.
the fog.
Well, I am quite skeptical of this too. See, the reason I found out about this was from a book in a hidden chamber in the academy that I've never been able to find since.
Oh,
It
that's
also spoke of a goddess named Zavillan. Do you know of her?
That we do.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yes.
That's
Then
the
you-
missing god. That's why I was
Yes.
shaking you.
And that's the symbol he's wearing around his neck.
Mhm.
That is a pretty big indicator. I'm pointing straight at him.
And
As-
That's a
as I
he's
bring-
big indicator of it.
he's not a cleric as far as you know.
Mhm.
What the hells do you have that for anyway? You're not
Well,
me.
here's the situation.
Thank God.
When
God.
Torm
Two
founded,
hazels?
when Torm founded the divine orders of the clerics and the paladins to serve as champions of the gods of right and justice, he didn't just found those. He founded a whole manner of other orders to act as champions to all the other gods as well. The rangers to the gods of the hunt, the bards to the gods of beauty and adventure, the monks to the gods of spirits, founded the druids to act as the gods of the natural forces, and the wizarding schools as the champions of the goddess of knowledge.
Sorry.
Hang on,
I
you're
have gotten
buffering.
up, walked around, finger in his ear.
Oh, come on!
Oh,
Ah! What? What? Stop that!
well, I appreciated not being me. Why'd you do that?
Ah!
Apparently,
Making
Hazel's
that face
thinking
like her, it's her blasphemy reaction.
Of just this concept that there's a unifying connection between spirits, nature, holy, and arcane.
taking someone's worldview and going, flip.
Yeah.
Yeah, basically, her
Here.
world just got shook.
So here's your understand. Here you've got Newtonian physics. Here's quantum physics and ties everything together.
You're welcome. I've been waiting for this.
All right.
Hazel's inflating. She's doing this whole Studio Ghibli like the hair's just going up.
And this
Clarity
book,
takes an arm and pulls her down back into a seat, and
I've only been able to read it for a few minutes before it disappeared, but I was able to keep this charm. This is only a guess, but I think at that moment Zivilin was trying to push some of her knowledge back into the world.
What does that have to do with coming out here, though?
You four actually know that it's entirely likely that the reason that Zivilin is away, wherever she's away, is because of the underlying mess of this. Because you were worried for a little while that she was tainted, and you still, in the bag of holding that Clarity still has, are those notes from Estan about how he knows that Zivilin's not dead or tainted, she's just missing.
It relates to the start of all, or the base of everything going on here. The whole we're led to believe that that's part of the this going on is part of the reason she's missing, and she's missing, not any of the alternatives, so far as I'm aware.
That's a bit of a relief.
And yeah,
we thought maybe that that someone wanted her silenced, possibly, and that was badly wounded. But that's, I mean, I don't know how much help that is.
That is why I'm here. I've actually heard from Torin. Was that the name of the bard?
yes.
I had heard from Torin that the Cupcake Coterie had been investigating a missing god, and I thought if I could get in touch with you and learn about what you found about what could drive a god away, I could figure out what drove away the villain.
Well, we thought that there was a tainted god, but we now think that we are facing a thing that taints or kills them, and that Zivilin tried to hide away. in some unfindable place and being a goddess of knowledge, that she would be the only one who would be able to find such a place.
But you do have in the notes the location of an old abandoned temple of Nerul that may have more clues. It's about 20 miles north of Belarus, out in what what Sigwald will know as the more it's closer to the area that's more or less given to gods both current and lost in some way. It was somewhere on his list to go until he heard about this, and now that he's hearing that there's something that's corrupting or killing gods, given his theories about how important the gods might be to their world, he's starting, I think, to get a feeling of why he's here. And I think Remy just knows by this point. It's tainting gods. Can you imagine what Tritherion would be like?
Yeah. Let's see. Wait, where was I? Am I still in the middle of going on with this?
Possibly.
Yes.
Yes.
Well, let's see. Out of the character here, what I covered, the important points of found the book, probably left by the villain, tells about how Torm founded the other classes to be champions of the other gods, and the villain's gone missing, and he's following the clues on what could drive away, taint, or destroy a god.
That's where we are at this point.
And let's see. Is there anything else I'm missing?
Not of immediate relevance, I don't think.
Well, let's see. At this point, all I have to offer is speculation based on my findings on this portents, which is that if the villain's disappearance was not of her own will, and if she did not take away the knowledge connected to her of her own will, there is a concern that damaging a god can damage its domain, or vice versa.
Okay, all of you, make me a. Let's think. I guess it would be a wisdom check.
Okay, before we do this, who has the best wisdom? Who has a really good wisdom modifier?
Nope.
Probably between myself and...
weirdly, it's between Froseth and Hazel.
Okay, I am going to throw my 15 portent at Froseth.
Okay.
I'm just going
no, don't
What?
do it until he's rolled, because...
Wait. The thing is that you can't. I have to deliver a portent before the roll happens.
Okay.
So it's like once I see the roll happen, I can't override it with a portent.
Okay. So you're handing your 15 to... Well, because of course he's got disadvantage, so it's probably just as well. Okay, the rest of you.
Yeah.
What's your wisdom modifier, Froseth?
3, so...
Also
18.
3.
Natural 20.
Oh!
Well, okay then.
And it actually makes...
Everyone knows what the fuck is going on here.
And I got an 18.
No, Remy's got no fucking clue and is basically going, I know this relates to my hitting something eventually.
Yeah.
By the way, should I also be making a wisdom check?
Yes.
Okay, hang on. Wisdom. Wait, not wisdom saving throw. Hang on.
It's the wisdom. It's right above the wisdom
big box.
modifier.
Okay. Here we go. Wisdom. Bleh. There we go.
Yeah, in this case, I'm gonna say that given Darvin's current state, Clarity's natural 20, and the fact that she was the only one who could read it in the first place. What's a meme? It's information.
What?
It's information. The concept of the boiling meme sounds
knowledge.
bad. And it could possibly be that it, if whether wounded or not, the villain might well have hidden herself away to keep from being found by anything like that. She doesn't want to be the boiling meme. She doesn't want to be tainted. And if that were ever to happen to her, better to have everything that she knows locked away than to have it propagate into the mental version of those thousands and thousands of tiny spiders that she feels crawling on her when she steps out into the fog. Because that clarity, putting it together, that would be what would happen if it was knowledge, if it was corrupted, it would spread everywhere. It would spread as thought, not just ooze or fog, or it would be an idea and it would be everywhere. Particularly if he's right about the entire world being a magical
Is Clary
construct.
explaining this as she's...
I hear this and I start scribbling madly in my notes, trying to get all of my thoughts down before I actually say anything.
Okay.
Okay.
But
So-
if you want, you can say that you said what I just said, because I know that was a lot.
And then she does. Yeah, she does.
Yeah, if this world is a magical construct, then you've got to imagine how there's more ways of just spreading thought and ideas than just speaking words or writing things on paper. There's spells that can send messages across distances. There's spells that can interfere with your dreams. Information can pass so quickly.
At this point,
Can you imagine how devastating that would be? How would you be able to get rid of something like that? Thoughts. How do you stop thinking about something? Have you ever tried to stop thinking about something? It's impossible. The more you think about something, the more you think about it. It's
The more you
insane
try
like that.
not
It
to
is
think about it, the
insanity.
more you think about it.
Right.
Yeah.
That's what I'm saying. And so, if she was trying to, if she was tainted by some way, then by this.
But you
This
know
thing.
she wasn't. You just know she's trying.
I know,
not to
but
be. Okay, just making
but
sure.
if she were to be tainted by this thing, it would be devastating to the entire world, especially if it's magic, because then magic would be everywhere. And if this place is made of magic, then oh my god, then everything would be affected.
Sigwald has seen students like her at the university, and he's always kind of thought they were funny.
and at this point, hearing all of this, Darvin just starts looking personally offended at all of this, because who's one of the biggest disseminators of information in the realms?
That's actually a good point, because he heard that he was started. If they can't get the villain, who might be next?
Oh.
Yeah, this is the connection that I'm making. I'm bringing this up. Just, to say nothing of, knowledge. I mean, aside from, libraries and such, who else spreads knowledge to a far greater range of areas?
Oh no, the
So,
music thing, right?
Who's
At
in
this
charge
point-
of bards?
It's in your notes somewhere.
That's a good question, because I don't remember.
In my notes?
I
don't
may
know if
not-
I took note.
I may not have specified. Hang on.
Don't
See, I didn't do my homework on the theology of Alone. I'm so sorry.
That's fine. That's fine. Don't worry. I keep. I'll just scroll.
I have that post saved somewhere.
Okay, but just to see if I'm catching up with this, what Clarity and Darvin are realizing is that the villain's disappearance she did it on purpose. They think she did it on purpose to prevent her domain from being a vector for the spread of whatever this fog is.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
Oh.
Little deeper than that, but yeah.
Okay.
It's not just
Alright.
the fog, but you know.
Okay. Of what? To prevent herself from being a vector for whatever the fog is spreading.
Yeah. For the record, to be fair, Sigwald didn't get all of the names, but
Okay.
it would either be Sune, who's set over love and beauty, Farlagen, who's travelers and wanderers, and that would be that would be equally devastating, or Broncala, who covers art and music.
Probably Broncala, actually, out of all of those, at least that's the one that Darwin is more concerned with. Because if I recall correctly, when I was speaking to you previously, and I said if he were to follow anybody, it would have been.
Yeah, well, that would be him personally, but you've got to imagine that the gods, those Torm would have basically gone, bards, you deal with those three.
Exactly.
But which, and
This is a mess.
It's a bit like a cleric will choose a god. It's just that all of the rest of this. I mean, this is actually starting to make sense to Hazel and Remy, because they've heard of these other ones. They've heard of, you know, the Row of the White Hart, whose peace and reason, and they've heard of Obad High, who's set over beasts in the hunt. But they've never had clerics, and they've never had paladins. They didn't really think about it. Now they're thinking about it, and oh shit, rangers would make sense for a god of the hunt. Oh shit.
Bard's got to get their
Click.
Bard's got to get their magic from somewhere. I mean, yes, it's inherent in the music, but there has to be something to put into the music, and where's that source? Yeah, there's got to be a source for everything.
Oh, now my head hurts.
Yeah, Darwin's just like, God, I need another drink.
Francine does actually, in a lull, just sit down. That's the last of it. Make it last.
Bless you, Francine.
Thank you.
Try not to get too drunk if you gotta go back out there. I don't have my hangover remedies.
All of this has rendered me more sober than I'd like to be.
Froseth is just going to go to bed now.
I love the way you just the finger, the point, it would kill me. The way you did that was just beautiful.
Hazel, meanwhile, is going to continue finishing whatever dinner is still left and the alcohol, and waiting for Clarity to go zonk out in order to add to the cleric rogue pile.
Yeah, they cuddle pile, basically. Sigwald has apparently lost everybody in a state of absolute shock.
Like everyone's losing their shit, and he's just like, kind of like, uh-oh, what did they realize that I didn't?
Clarity is looking at Sigwald with wide eyes and is just like, well, is there more? I want to know more. This is fascinating.
and Sigwald's just like, if only. Like I said, I've only been able to read that book once. It disappeared once I finished reading the first few pages. All I have is this arcane focus. I know.
Great. That's great.
All I have past this is pure speculation.
It's more than we had.
Besides the connection, the ability to hurt a domain by hurting its god or vice versa, that is speculation.
Well, it bears out what we're saying. If you can hurt a barony by hurting its heart, it's a similar pattern.
Yeah, but how do you hurt a god?
Be something.
With the black crap.
To be fair,
You still need to get it to the god.
That's probably what they're trying to do by making it everywhere. Look at the fog.
Hmm.
I mean,
They
it's
started with a barony. They're probably going to try to go to another one or to another city.
Given
Or
what
that
Remy's already seen in the southern lands, that's starting to make a little more sense.
Well,
it all
Well,
fits. The patterns fit. Unfortunately,
I mean, if they cover the world in it, where are the gods going to go? At that point, it would start going the opposite direction, wouldn't it?
Clarity. With that wisdom, it's not just the world. As much
Different
as
planes.
as that, well, probably that too,
Reality.
but as much as people need the gods need people. They taint the people enough of the people. That's the way that if you taint the heart, the barony goes. People are the heart of the gods as much as their creation, as much as any of the rest of their creations. And because they pray to the gods, particularly if it became a boiling meme, taint enough people, taint enough of those connections to the divine that are people. That's how you taint a god.
Well,
Hmm.
okay, listen. I mean, what are gods without followers? I mean, they're nothing. They're, there's no point to them. You think about your own creations. They're a part of you. That you just put out into the world. Where if we were created by them, then we're parts of them. You taint us, and they're tainted as well.
You got to
Well.
imagine there's probably a tipping point. You'd need to taint enough people, because you've seen what radiant energy does to them, what pure divine energy does to the taint. But there would have to be a tipping point where that divine energy would just get swamped. So Star Coast probably isn't going to taint, isn't going to cause anything massively problematic as it stands. But if it had been allowed to spread to the barony, if, as Remy might think, the southern lands fell, if it went to somewhere else, I mean, Sigwald is probably thinking about the spot north of. Scroll up for name. 'Cause I'm in my own notes, but oh, for fuck's sake. Here we go. Yeah, I was right. Zlato Aur, which is where the which in Equitas is basically where the temples and the shrines are. It's where you go when you need information about the gods that are still, the gods that are no longer spoken of. If it got there, oh, are you guys fucked?
Yeah.
I'm following all the. I'm following the progression of this pattern. I mean,
Yeah.
following
And
the melody
Sigwald,
of it, as it were. And
Well, at some point, sorry.
and
Go on, Doug.
sorry, you taint the land, you taint the heart, you taint the land, you taint the land, you taint the people, you taint the people, you taint the gods, you taint the gods, you taint reality.
Sorry, everyone's buffering. Hang on.
As if as if I wasn't thinking there was, a whole lot at stake, as it were.
Well,
What the
we
hell
know
did we get
from
ourselves
Torin
into?
that there are other tainted places. The places where there are these things underground that people like Frosis clan were supposed to protect against, like the Hearth Hearts. That if those things get out, those sort of pockets of evil, then then imagine the kind of devastation that would be caused. And that must be their aim.
It stops being pockets at that point.
Right.
Is Remy gonna say anything?
It's going a little bit over her head.
No, but now they're talking about pockets where this stuff is. Remy does have something to say about that, and I mentioned it not 20 minutes ago.
Oh, the thing with the cave?
Yep.
Okay, yeah. So she would perk up eventually, 'cause I have seen something like this before in a cave that was full of cultists in the south, and they've been transformed and corrupted, probably like the ones in the fog, the black goo and everything, and it was not a good time.
So it's in the north and in the south.
It's apparently, but we're here, so we have to deal with the
Right.
heart right now.
Deal with the here.
Before
Yeah,
we can
deal with the here. Mhm.
think about anything else.
Understood. Just realizing that there's more at stake than just Star Coast.
We have heavy hunches. No certainty, but this is definitely not an experiment we want to test. We need to purify the heart. We need to purify the heart of Star
We need
Coast.
to get the heart.
Yeah. Point of fact.
All right.
Because the one question no one's asked is, do they know where it is? I mean, beyond the manor.
So,
I mean,
where
the only, it's
all right. Well, where in the heart? Where in the manor would the heart of Star Coast be?
I don't know. We didn't get a chance to search it when we were there. We just barreled on straight on through, and
then had to run.
Yeah, and then it was a whole lot of running.
Because the mouther thing started fogging everywhere.
Does the heart give off like magical energy? Something
Well, it's
that
probably
could be
hang
detected?
on.
Well, wait.
Buffering.
We have seen. Well, hell, we've held one.
Shit.
We've held, yeah. I held one. That.
You nearly put it in the bag of holding.
Yeah, which I'm not
Glad I
doing,
stopped you
ever.
from doing that.
Hang on, guys. We've lost
Oh.
we lost a Rafi.
Sorry about that. My call was being fucky, so I had to drop out.
Okay. No, that's fine. I just wanted to make sure you didn't miss too much.
Okay. All right.
Basically,
Yeah.
what happened was in
Goldendale.
Goldendale. Thank you. Lost the name. Sorry. Goldendale. There was a tower nearby, and come to find out, in the tower was the heart for Goldendale. So, which we didn't know we were going for at the time. The Baron there basically sent us to the tower because the guy that was in the tower died, and well, it needed to get got, but there were magic traps because the guy was
Warlock.
was it Warlock? Thank you. And so, but he had died, so we went and got it, and like we said, it's in a box. We never opened the box. We didn't because
We were told not to open the box.
We were told not to open the box, and there were extenuating circumstances that compelled us to comply. So we just returned it. But along and along, we found out that box was that. After finding out that they were a thing, and definitely not a thing you want to put into a bag of holding. I'm really, really glad I piped up and said, let's not do that because we don't know what it is. I can occasionally be smart. But, so we've seen it. I don't.
Well, we've seen something like it, not the specific one
yeah,
that's
but you've
here.
you've had the heart of Star Coast described to you. To refresh your memories, it is a wooden box about the size of a bread loaf, made of what looks to be driftwood, banded in iron with the compass rose symbol of the Star Coast barony on the lid in iron.
Right, and I'll relay that.
Can we be sure that the heart is still in the manor without being in the same room?
They were doing the ritual in the manor. That would imply it's still in the manor. It's a box. It's not going to get up and walk away.
Well, if they finish the ritual.
Given the walls are sprouting tentacles,
That is a good point.
The problem is, where else do you start?
yeah.
The only place
Also
to
a
go
good
that
point.
makes sense. I mean, we're not just going to randomly walk into every single building. And the heart can't really be moved out of the barony, and it can't leave the barrier. The barrier is keeping all the juju in.
All right.
So then all we have to do is distract the creatures and get to the manor.
Mhm.
Right, that's
Oh,
all.
Or
is that
kill
all?
anything that gets in your
Or
way.
if we- or
Oh,
if we
yeah,
do-
like it's that easy.
Well, if we can check if the dancing lights will attract them.
That's a thought. I mean, it's worth a shot. Tomorrow.
Do you want to try
Yes,
doing
in the
that right
morning.
now, or are we actually
No.
getting some rest because we got our
Well,
faces kicked in?
On the other hand,
No, we
if-
do that in the morning.
on the other hand, it might be worthwhile to try to experiment and then rest after.
It's
Yes.
cantrips. We don't need. We won't be spending
That's
ourselves.
true.
But on the other
Well-
hand, if you experiment now, you've got overnight and over breakfast to debate something if it doesn't
Yeah.
work.
I could just step out for a bit, not past the barrier protecting the inn, and just throw out a set of dancing lights and see if any creatures gather.
Or if
Yeah, okay.
you get the attention of anything.
Mhm.
Okay.
Would we want to test sound as well? I can do some thaumaturgy.
Yes.
Oh, fantastic!
Yes, we want to test sound.
Okay.
All right, then let's do that.
I mean, for that matter, I could play something if we want to try sound.
Well, the problem is that we want them to go away from us. We need to find a way to have sound happen far away from where we are. So if you know how to throw your musical notes,
I can throw my sound, Davin.
Okay.
One word. Shatter.
all right.
Oh, right.
Although, no, you did cast that. Do you still have a spell slot from the fight?
Oh. Let me just double check how many I've got. 'cause I
Make
don't
sure
think
you
I
haven't
do.
blown all your MP. I only have first level slots left.
Wait, I did that one. I did that. I actually have a single. Nope. Nope. I'm out.
Okay.
I used enhance ability as well. Dang. Oh well. Yeah, I'm out. Unfortunately, I do not. I can't help until I get some sleep.
All right.
So it's you two. You
Just
stepping outside.
I'm
The squishies.
following just to make sure.
the squishies.
Yes.
Well, if
Nah,
you're,
Revy's
if
gonna
you're
step-
staying
that's
inside,
true.
if you're staying inside the
Yes,
barrier, that
inside
shouldn't
the
be a
barrier.
problem. Okay.
All right.
Also,
Oh boy, oh boy,
Remy,
oh boy.
so I want to test her divine sense because it says presence of all evil things within 60 feet.
Okay.
Oh.
Okay. So wait. Remy's doing that. Sigwald is casting dancing lights. Clarity is thaumaturgying some sound.
Yes. And also, I'd like to try to bang some doors, like in the distance. See if I can, with the
Okay.
same spell.
Okay. None of it passes the barrier. It protects.
Well-
It seems to protect by keeping anything from noticing that there's anything there, which means it's blocking out any magical influence. Any magical influence.
We're gonna have to step out to check this. Oh, no.
Oh,
Then we'll step right out a foot.
Damn it.
Okay.
I didn't get to say
Remy,
anything.
make me a Constitution saving throw.
shit. Can I submit my other portent? I really don't want it to fuck up.
Do I just click the Constitution roll?
No, it's
It's
a
a
saving
saving
No,
throw.
it's
throw.
constant.
It's a saving throw.
I'd like to reiterate.
You're for you want to.
Remy, do
do
you want to use my 14 portent?
Okay.
What?
Just trying to find the saving throw to click on.
It's underneath the proficiency bonus number, below inspiration dice, to the left of armor class.
Noms. Rafi's asking, do you want to use his 14 plus your wisdom, plus your constitution modifier?
Okay, yeah.
Constitution save modifier.
Okay.
So that would be 15 then.
Okay.
Remy, did you keep your helmet off?
Yeah, probably.
Uh-oh.
This is just as well for you, because Divine Sense, in that fog, you are on your knees puking. It is that bad. Everything within your range is screaming
Okay, I see
evil
this
at
happening,
you.
roll,
and,
though?
and against
Did he
my
roll?
He doesn't
capabilities,
have to,
I try to
because-
haul
okay.
Remy back in.
Okay, hang on. Let me just explain for
Mhm.
because I want to make sure everybody gets this.
I-
Rafi Sigwald has he's a school of divination wizard. What that means is he rolled 2 d20s, and he has the option to replace any roll with one of his, with one of those
Oh.
two, per long rest.
Yes.
So
Gotcha.
after long rest,
I get-
he rolls another 2, and that's why Noms didn't roll.
I see.
It still wasn't enough. But
Damn.
yeah, I'm sorry. That was going to be massively high
Oh,
Yeah.
TN for that one.
This reminds me of something else that it's out of game that I'll mention later that you might get a kick out of.
Okay, but yeah, Remy's on her knees puking.
I am going to reach over, grab her, and try to pull her back in.
Are you resisting this
Yes.
by any means?
No, definitely
Okay,
not.
you're once you're back in, you're definitely feeling better. There's nothing evil in here. But that you don't want to be switching divine sense on out there.
That's good to know.
Darvin, what was that sort of telling I cut out for a bit?
He may have just been muted. He does that.
Yeah, no, I was muted.
Talking to his cat, probably.
Yeah, sorry.
Ugh.
Yeah, so basically all you've seen is Remy step out over the border, grasp her symbol of Tritherian, and then end up stagger on her knees, puking up, and Hazel's dragged her back in. So you don't know why exactly.
Okay, whatever you did,
Whatever
don't
you
do
just
that again.
did, don't do that again.
Oh, we're on the same page, Hazel.
That's good.
Sorry, I skipped out. I skipped out for a bit.
You didn't really miss anything. I was just rehashing that Remy hasn't necessarily explained what she just did, but she stepped out into the fog and dropped to her knees and started throwing up and got dragged back in by 2 of you.
Okay.
And was just told, whatever you just did, don't do that.
What? Okay, when you're done, what was that?
What happened, Remy? Are you okay?
Okay, just gonna keep breathing, keep breathing. That was maybe not a good idea. Because it turns out the entire fog and everything in the city, or worse, is all evil and
Oh, for
not fun. It's not a good idea.
Given that
Yeah.
this is the first thing you guys all said.
Like a dog smelling capsaicin.
We just told you
Just
the
spent
fog
the
was
last-
evil.
hour
Well,
ago.
I know that,
Some of the
but,
stuff I do.
but if I could
At
have
least it wasn't Thunderwave.
sensed the creatures, the problem is the fog.
The
is in
entire
way.
fog is evil. It's not just the creatures.
Well,
Everything
I
here
know
is
The
that.
evil.
fog basically is a creature.
That's the problem.
Don't do that again.
Well, obviously.
I reiterate, like a dog smelling.
Okay. Is there anything else you
So-
guys?
Shit, every time I talk, it doesn't happen.
This is like trying to detect good in a temple of Palor.
Well, that won't make you sick.
Actually, the overload might.
Oh.
Actually,
It wasn't just the fact that it
side
was
note.
evil. It's just that it's an olfactory thing. Sense evil and good. It would overwhelm if you're not careful.
Side note, was I unable to cast dancing lights across
Yep.
the threshold?
No.
Ah.
If you're standing in, nothing comes out. Apparently,
Okay.
no light, no sound, no sense of any of you. That is apparently what
Okay.
protects you.
All right. Okay.
So yeah, let's not try this again.
All right.
We obviously, if we're gonna do distractions, we have to cross the barrier to do it. And I don't like if anything pops up that we have to deal with because of it. I don't think we're in any condition to do it.
You don't think we could just
Remy,
step
before
over,
you
cast a
collapse.
spell, come back?
No, Remy is feeling better. Just needed to take a few breaths, and without the divine sense, she's starting to sort of straighten up now. So-
Did you see any creatures out there aside from without using a divine sense
You didn't
as you
really
stepped
have.
up?
You didn't really have time.
Yeah,
All right.
not a chance.
I'm going to be bold. I'm going to take a step step across the threshold and see
Damn it.
see if there's anyone waiting out. if
I
there's
feel like
anything
Elliot.
out there.
Damn it, Sigmund!
There doesn't seem to be any more or less noise and gurgling sound and itching than there was before.
Okay.
But she wasn't out there for very long.
Okay.
And you're still pretty close to the barrier. You don't know how far any residual might spread.
Okay. All right. Do I hear anything that sounds like a shuffling creature or anything like that?
Just about everywhere you go. The problem is you can't really tell where any of it's coming from because echoes between
Okay.
buildings and you know how fog distorts things. So
Oh.
you know that there's noises, you know that there's these and from various spots, but you can't tell where. The only place you know they're not coming from is directly behind you because that's where the barrier
Okay.
is.
All right. Well, in that case, straight ahead of me, at about 100 feet, I'm going to attempt to set up a dancing lights in the shape of a person again, and have them slowly walking away from me.
You can do that.
All right.
Yeah.
See.
The
Do I have to?
the noises start getting louder and they start coming directly for you.
I step back.
As far as you can tell, you can still sort of hear the noises faintly in the distance. Your dancing lights cut out as soon as you cross the threshold, but you still can't really see anything, but you could tell they were approaching you. Flanking from the sides, probably, and not paying any attention.
Oh boy.
All
No,
right.
you guys didn't see that. That was too
Okay.
far away in the fog,
Sorry.
and it was only hearing from.
And what happened?
Well, good news is, I have confirmed that dancing lights will not make a good distraction. Actually, is that bad news? I'm not sure.
That's
Well.
bad news.
Checking things off the
Bad.
list.
That's very bad.
Yes.
Tick.
They-
That's
Apparently, they can tell where magic is coming from.
That or that's not
That's
their
worse.
area of interest.
Hmm.
So, possible theory, if you're going to sneak, don't use magic.
Joy.
Well, if they can hear people too, then sneaking's not really an option anyways.
Well,
Unless we get really lucky.
They did keep you from getting spotted on the way to
For
see what
12
happened.
feet.
No,
Yeah.
no,
For
because
24 feet.
no, that was actually further than that because you had a good few minutes walk.
Oh.
Oh, well.
Because you
Yeah, we didn't come in that same
Yeah,
way.
you approached
Oh,
from
my bad.
closer. You approached from closer to the river, and that's where Nora was.
Right. My bad. I misremembered. Sorry.
I mean, it's still relatively close compared to the manor, but it's not the 12 feet to the. Of course, it probably would have made more sense if you guys had thought about it to find the area close to the piecemeal, but you didn't think of that, so.
Nope. Okay. Well, I mean, we're gonna have to sneak through as much as we can. I mean, we're not gonna. We probably won't make it, but I mean, that's why.
Well, the first thing
You
you're going to
could-
have to do is sleep on it, because we are getting to around that time, and...
Yeah.
And
Well, regardless of what we come up with, we need to sleep.
Sigvald's the only one who can't just hit things with a weapon, right?
Pretty much, yeah.
yeah,
Okay, yeah,
I-
then we could do potentially a no magic approach.
And to be fair, you four used magic. It didn't make a difference one way or another.
Mm-mm.
Yeah,
If you're getting attacked, open fire.
yes, do open fire.
Yeah. No. I mean, if we're trying to be
potentially
sneaky,
if it's just one zombie as opposed to the mob.
not likely.
Oh, we were
to be just
casting
one.
magic.
Even better.
yeah,
you
we
could
were
just
casting magic
run.
all
We-
over the place.
How fast are they?
And fast
Good
as we
question.
are.
Fast enough to hit him. Points at the probably unconscious process. A lot.
he's-
Yeah.
So we wouldn't-
Not to mention, you're forgetting that. Speaking of things that are quick, did you see what was flying overhead?
Right.
Great
Speaking
clapping
of the
dragon.
dragon.
Can't outrun that. Never mind.
Yes, to be
That would-
fair, Remy, that was not a dragon. You've seen enough statues to know that was like a huge bird, like a rock or something, as designed by somebody from some other really fucked up plane. It was not a
With-
dragon.
Yeah,
Dragon,
Will it
Dragonborn would
notice-
kick your ass for saying it.
that thing was like a fever dream of a
That's
5-year-old.
If I cast Hunter's Mark on it, would it notice?
It might.
Okay, well, that's
Well,
You don't
too much
know.
first. then.
You really
Oh,
don't know.
actually, 90 feet might not be close enough anyway.
hang on. Is Remy thinking this out loud if she's
Probably.
as she's
No,
talking
I
about-
am asking.
Okay, no,
GM.
this is Nom's asking the DM. Besides, you couldn't do it from
Okay.
in here anyway. If you wanted to
Right.
test it, you'd
We
have
don't
to
see
test
it
it out
now.
there.
And
Good.
as we found out, using magic at a distance lights you up.
No, not
Yeah.
necessarily. It just
Well,
Necessarily.
or at least using dancing lights at a distance attracts them to your location.
No, I
Or-
was just thinking potentially knowing where the flying monster
Right.
of doom is could be
Right.
useful.
could be useful, but
But that presumes it does not notice.
Yeah,
you can't say
Yeah,
whether
well,
one way or
and
another, or
then-
whether it would or it wouldn't.
right.
Yeah.
There's
Yeah.
a chance. But
Yeah.
it's something that you can think about overnight, because these poor kids, because all four of these are younger than Remy at least.
How old's Remy?
That is also a
Yeah,
good
Hazel
point.
and Darvin are like late teens. First is kind of hard to tell.
Is that what it was? I don't
Yeah,
remember.
because remember we had about an age limit of late teens, early 20s.
Oh, that's what it was. And I think I said, yeah, you're right.
You were
I
like
pushed the
19,
limit.
something like that. Yeah,
20, actually. 20 even is what it was.
yeah.
We never discussed it for Froseth, but he's like early 20s, so like 23, 22.
No, 21 was my hard cap limit. So
Oh, yeah?
No, it
Okay,
wasn't.
never mind then.
I always figured him actually at the younger end of the scale. He just seemed
Oh, really?
no pun intended, but he just seems older because of the
Scale. Really?
I saw it coming at a
Oh man, I didn't even catch that until you said it. Until you said
In
no
any
pun
case,
intended.
I
Anyway,
figured that because it's really hard to tell with Dragonborn unless you know
Yeah.
Dragonborn, Furseth could easily pass for somewhere in his early 20s because he's tall and you can't see what changes
And he
the
doesn't
face
say
to.
much.
And yeah, and he's any of the shelteredness is usually written off to him being a monk, but it's also partially him being young. And
I thought-
Hazel is what, 17, 18?
18.
Yeah, so these compared to Remy in particular, these are sheltered kids.
I have Clarity down as 24.
We had
Oops.
we had this conversation, and
Well, I had wanted her to be 28 or something, but you said no. So, and we had agreed on 24.
I hadn't thought I'd agreed that high, but
Tieflings.
Well, I don't even understand how it would matter. I mean, she's just been reading.
because a 24-year-old rogue would have snuck into a lot more places than a level 1 character. And a lot of the stuff that I'd written out, I'd worked out for on a timeline basis for someone a bit younger than you are. Mostly because that's 3 more years Henry's been missing.
Well, I had him being missing for 7 years, but I mean, that's what I had on my character sheet from the very beginning.
This is something that's gonna have to be discussed because I probably didn't make myself very clear, but I had set that was the limit I'd meant to set.
Okay.
And maybe I decided to be a bit more flexible like months and months ago and don't remember it, but I doubt it. So I've clearly miscommunicated something and I'm sorry. At this point, I really hate to do this because it mucks up what I had in my head for this. But I'm gonna have to leave it at yours. But I don't know what I'm gonna do about your entire backstory now as I've set it up going forward. So if there are some hiccups in there...
I mean, she doesn't need to have started early. I mean, she got kicked out at 18, but that doesn't mean that she started looking.
Well, no, that's
I mean,
not,
we can have this discussion later, but...
Yeah, that's not what I mean. I also mean that there's also the question of how she survived before getting picked up by the Thatchers. And it's something that I'll have to think about when we're not already running over time. I'm happy to leave it vague, but I am gonna say that you certainly look and act younger than you actually are.
Okay.
Just on the grounds of, again, you're level 4, and 4 of those levels were picked up in 2 weeks. So, you know, there's an experience thing that we're just going to have to vague up, because right now, and even going on, I don't really want to have to think about it too hard. The fact is, compared to a seasoned mercenary, you look like a kid. It doesn't matter if you're older. It doesn't matter if you're older than her. It's you look like a kid. And what Remy is thinking is these little twerps need to sleep now.
Old and grumpy paladin is old and grumpy.
No, actually, Remy is younger than Clarity, as far as this is concerned. She just seems older. She's like
she's grizzly, slightly grizzly.
Yeah, she probably
slightly
looks
grizzly.
older. Probably looks older than she is as well. So that vagues things up even more. All you know for sure is that this one has the grumbly impatience of, if you kind of melded Jenna's general good-natured no-nonsense with Estan's occasional grumbliness, that's kind of how I'm seeing Remy right now. Speaks when necessary and grumbles a lot.
Which my head just wanted to go,
probably.
just on?
And screams internally a lot.
Yeah, internally, eternally. You know. Eternally screaming.
Given what we're about to put her through, probably
excuse
eternally,
me.
yes.
Mm-hmm.
Sorry to interrupt this, but I've been wondering whereabouts is Star Coast Manor within the boundary of the Petunia barrier. Is it like at the center of town, or is it close to the edge?
It's more sort of the further edge. Star Coast is not a huge town, but it's on the coast.
Okay.
You probably
So-
don't want to take the beach though, because some of that comes into the water. If
Ah.
that's what's crawling around on land.
Yeah.
Oh, critters.
And of course, Furseth knows that the people walked into the water and the people came out.
Except they were people.
And
Yeah.
he's out like a light, so
So we'll deal with that when we're not running nearly 10 minutes over time.
Yeah,
We
we'll deal
will
with that later.
simply say that this lot, Furseth crashed like 20 minutes ago. Hazel and Darvin are on reality tip after burn. Just, I can't deal with this thud. So essentially, is Sigwald going to explain what he did with his ritual? Because I know Clarity was taking notes.
Yeah, I get that we don't want to go into the water.
No.
Sorry, I just
Sorry.
came back.
Sorry,
I
know.
just came.
Yeah,
But what I was trying to say is there a way we could actually leave town, skirt around the edge of the border inland, and then approach the mansion from where we wouldn't have to make as long a walk?
Probably not, but you might have different problems, but that's something that's gonna have to be discussed when this four are less shell-shocked. Because if Sigwald had any of those questions,
Yes, Sigvald's just probably starting to think about this as he's going to bed, and just kind of lying awake, going,
yeah, this is something we will deal with tomorrow. I will say for the record that there are probably going to be other equally bad issues if you skirt around, which these guys know why.
Oh.
okay. That reason. Oh.
Uh-huh. But for now, we will leave it at, I will say that Sigwald explained that, when these guys are trying desperately to figure out in their wounded, shell-shocked, and grieving states how to set some kind of watch, Sigwald's like, oh no, I handled that.
Mm-hmm. Yes, I did set up an alarm on the front door. If anyone comes in, it'll wake everyone up.
Oh. Okay. Bed now.
Also, probably won't come into the windows.
Yeah, we will say that it does more or less cover the windows, but there are actual beds for those of you who have been sleeping on. I mean, the ones on ships had at least hammocks, but for those of you who've been in bedrolls, there are actual beds.
Nice.
And is there enough space for the survivors?
Oh yeah,
As well?
and keep in mind that the ward that Petunia seems to have set up covers the entire thing. So they're happy enough. They're happy enough to take the upstairs just to, keep you guys having whatever adventure stuff. Because apart from Francine, who's helping out by bringing food and stuff, they don't want to know. They really don't want to know. They're freaked out enough as it is, and the minute Francine started hearing shit about the metaphysics of the universe, she just herded everybody upstairs because they don't need this bullshit right now.
Yeah, fair. Okay.
In any case, on that note, we will leave it. Now remember, in 2 weeks' time, we are moving to Saturday, because unfortunately Smeagol will be traveling on the Sunday, and for what you guys plan to do, you don't want to be without a healer. You really don't. I promise you don't.
You don't have the potions for that.
Yeah.
Want to be fully rested and fed.
Yes, and thank you all. I will see you in 2 weeks' time.
Good night.
Bye.
Bye.